Now. Good morning and welcome to the Flooring Model Saturday morning 9 a.m. start live show.
9 a.m. It's 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Depends where you are in the world.
I suppose. I suppose.
2 a.m., 4 a.m., wherever you are in the world. We have got a small problem. Flory family, the chat room's down. I don't know. This is one of those things. We only literally looked at it with 10 minutes to go, and I haven't got time to troubleshoot it or get hold of tech and all the rest of it. It might clear. So I don't know if you guys want to pop over to YouTube chat. You can go in there. Obviously, that one is operational and working, which is nice. But for some reason, it ain't working. It's coming up saying that it's a failed your token thing. The token thing is just where it checks your account to make sure you're a subscriber. Normally by logging out of all your devices and log back in, it clears it, but I've tried it and it's still not working. So I assume they're working on something in the background, and yeah, it's coughed and broke. So yes, but apart from that, everything else is good. There you go. Look, 2 a.m. in Arizona in USA. Good morning. So, yes.
That is really morning.
That's good. Are you up working, or are you just getting up early, or staying up late? It's that in between time, isn't it?
Just getting up to watch us.
It is. Good job. Look at that. Look, Penzance is sunny in Cornwall. Yes, David, I can agree. I can say South Devon here reporting in, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's supposed to be 22 degrees. Be very nice.
South Yorkshire's sunny today as well, so that's good.
It. And how
is
it?
England is.
Are you nice and sunny up there, Nate?
Oh, yes. We have very, very bright sunshine.
Has it all calmed down now since Eurovision? Is Liverpool back to normal?
Liverpool is back to its normal old self, yeah. It's a bit sad, really. The party's gone.
Yeah, the party's gone. Everyone's miserable again. Good job. Anyway, big thank you to all the very, very kind comments you guys have been messaging and emailing and talking about and things like that from yesterday's show, which obviously, as a lot of know, I was beginning of the week on Tuesday was away. So we did the things with the Lancaster for the 80th. We did it to mark the 80th. I can't say we did it to mark the 80th because it just so happened. But yes, it was, you say, it's a very, very special day. And thank you to everybody who sent notes and wishes and various things like that. We did have a lot of fun, but at the same time, it was very poignant, shall we say, as well, really. So yeah, very, very nice. So good job. Don't forget, you can see the whole thing if I just show them where it is, because I've had lots of people, because to be honest, the link didn't work in the forum yesterday. It does now. I've put a thing in, but at the time it was not quite working correctly. But on the site here, if you go whizzing all the way down to the very, very bottom of any page, it says Lancaster Just Jane down the bottom. If you click on that, clearly after the show, the standalone videos, the unedited ones, are all there, plus all the high-res reference photos. So they are all down in here as well. So you can get very nice up and close and personal. But as I say, I've tried to do all the ones that us modelers are sort of interested in. So yeah, no, it was quite a good one. So yeah, literally just come along to any of them. Like this one's a particular favourite. Look at the tape on that. So why have a nice join when you can just gaffer tape it?
Exactly, get the gaffer tape out.
Yes, so very, very nice. So you say there's all the high-res ones down in there as well. So if you do want to pop in and see all of those, as I said before, they're right down the bottom. So it's very nice and straightforward to find down in there. You can see those ones as well. But yes, good day was had by all.
Good stuff. Did you have a delivery yesterday?
I did. Do you want me to do that now?
Oh, did it actually turn up? I didn't know if it was turned up. That was all.
It did. Sorry, did I not say?
No.
So I do apologise. You know what? It turned up after I did the recording for the show, yesterday's show. Yeah. I finished, stood up, and then the door went, and it was here. So at long last, we have the much anticipated, the much spoken about, shall we say. And I know lots of you got in contact with me over the last month or two saying you had yours and with your thoughts on it. I still have not actually opened this box. God's honest truth. I literally haven't opened the box yet. So I want to do it as a first impression because I've had Lots of people give me their impressions, and to be honest, some of them are incredibly favourable, some of them are absolutely terrible. So it'll be one of those ones. I want to do it as a live thing on camera, so you get my reaction to it as well. So if I go quiet, it normally means it's not brilliant. If I start going, oh, that's lovely, then you know it's good. The other thing that turned up as well, which is, again, something we've been speaking about on lots of shows recently, and eventually it's come back into stock. And it is this thing, and this one I have looked in the box, just for nostalgic purposes, is this little lump, which is the highly accurate, as we know, lightning from Trumpeter, old school Trumpeter. So, but we haven't seen this kit for a long, long time. And so anyway, it's back as well. I'm not saying I'm going to build it anytime soon, but it is going to go in my stash, because actually, now I've seen it, I've got an itch. You know, it's like, oh, you know what? I know it's not brilliant and it's not the most accurate, but it's going to be a lot easier than putting a vac form together, isn't it, Nate?
Oh, absolutely. Well, see, my thought on that is, it looks like a lightning. If you know where it's wrong, you're going to lose your head on it. But when you see them built up at shows, they look all right.
Yeah. That's my sentiment exactly. It looks like a lightning. And I know there's lots of rivet counters out there who probably pull this apart. And yes, it's not the most accurate, shall we say. But if you didn't know, it looks like a lightning. So that's the philosophy I'm going with. It's
probably like a couple of % out here and there. But people just focus on that and then they can't see past it.
No, that's right. So, but we do here at Flory Models, because we just like it because it's a lightning at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, but yes, got that one. And the last little bit that turned up, or I hope so, it was like a lucky dip. Who packed that? Was that you packed it?
Me, I packed it.
It's a good job we did have the old dog pack. She was in it. But yes, after a bit of searching, I did find these in there as well, which is going to go along with this. So this is going to be the next proper video build that's going to be coming out as well. Because again, I've got an itch to scratch and I want to do something in the sort of North Africa colours in the sandstone as well, with azure blue as opposed to azores. I keep getting told off. So I've got that. And then what I've got just down in here, which I haven't even set the cameras up yet. Apologies. Let me just do this. I'll do it manually. There we go. Right. We've got the little set here for it as well. Little look set, which, where are we? If we go full screen. Nope, sorry. That's
just before we open that, I just need to chat. Just if you've got any questions, just hang on a bit while we do our usual 20 minutes of housekeeping and catching up, and then we'll do questions.
Yes. So this here is the look set for this one. So you get 3 little sets down in here. So the first one we get is this little guy, which is the old instrument panel, which looks pretty sweet.
Does actually, that looks nice.
Does the job. We get a little few, we get proper nice wheels. Weighted wheels, are they? I don't know, are they? Hold on, put my glasses on. Don't think they are. Yes, they are. Yeah, just about. So we've got some weighted wheels down in there. There must have been high air pressure in these. And obviously we've got a little tail wheel. Very nice. The obligatory harnesses. So we've got some harnesses and obviously a mast set. So definitely we wanted that one. Oh, sorry, is that the different mast set? That's the wheel mast set. And then you've got the proper mast set, which is down in here. So we've got this one. So basically what you've got is, it comes with a mast set.
You definitely need a mast set for that.
Let's face it, as you can see in here from the old Destructions, that's why you need a mast set.
You'd be there a week without that.
Yeah, you'd be there forever, wouldn't you, quite frankly. So that's why we've gone with a mast set for that one.
How did we cope with building aircraft before mast sets?
We have really dodgy painted screens, doesn't it? That's what it was. So yes, we got that, and then obviously we've got, this is the one for the interior.
So that's a look one, isn't it? Not a space one.
No, this is a look one. So it's not quite as nice as the space ones, I don't think. But to be honest with you, you're not really going to see it down in there. You will probably see it a little bit more in others. And obviously we've got some wheels.
So that's like Edar's equivalent to a Yahoo instrument panel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which are nice. I like the Yahoo ones. I think they're nice as well. Like I say, for what you see of most instrument panels, they're enough. I think if you're obviously going up to the bigger scales, it's a bit different. But, 48th and 7/2 are perfect.
Yeah, so this one here, as you can probably see, if I try and there you go, catch it in the light, you can see what they've done, very much like the Yahoo ones, is that you've got that nice glassy effect with the actual dials. which is actually really works. Normally I come along with a little bit of PVA and do it, but again, I'm of a certain age now, and to try and actually paint this would be, it's never going to happen, or not to that standard. So it's easier to pop in one of these at the end of the day. So very nice indeed. So yeah, that's what I'll be tackling shortly, which I must admit I'm really looking forward to it, because let's face it, it's ICM, so it's going to be a lot of no-brainer it going together. We've got all the nice little upgrades we need that are going to make life a little bit easier. So yeah, it should be very nice indeed. Looking forward to this one. Very nice. So yes, let me just chuck all this out of the way. Right, what are you doing then, guys?
Got
what have you been up to?
What am I doing this morning?
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do, I'm jumping around from one 72 scale build to another. But I think I'm doing, hold up the camera, I'm doing that one, the 1943.
Nice. Very nice.
So I'm trying to do something from all theatres, or as many as I can get through by the end of June. This one's going to be my, well, that's what the Southeast Asia, India, Burma. It's not the best 72 scale Hurricane anymore. I think Armour Hobbies is going to just put this in the shade, but it's all right. It's one of Airfix's earliest new kits, if that makes sense, when they sort of have their resurgence. So you can see it's got sink marks, the fit's not perfect, but that'll be me this morning wrestling with that thing.
Very nice. Cool. Matt?
I am going to be, hopefully, planning to button this up.
Very nice. Sorry, let me mute you. I can't turn it totally off because the plumber's coming.
Mute my phone as well.
I painted up the sidewalls, and to be honest, I've done a bit of weathering off cam because I just want to get this now buttoned up. Nothing, just some oils and a bit of detail painting on that. Also, cockpit floor, which slides in after. So I'm going to add the harnesses to that, which I have. It's turned up. I'm going to whack the harnesses on that, and then, like I say, get this buttoned up, and that can go to one side to dry off. It does fit pretty good, to be honest. I keep test fitting it. One thing I did find was a bit weird. And I don't know if Nigel's in chat or not, because I'm not seen him yet, because he's built one of these. It's the instrument panel. It's a very odd fit, and it even says on the instructions.
It's a very odd fit.
Well, kind of, yeah. It's like, I can see that, look.
Right.
Leave a 1 mil gap, but there's not a lot to locate it to. But the shape, it sounds daft, but the shape of the instrument panel don't match the shape of the fuselage. It's very weird. I was fiddling with it last night, and I think I could get it to fit, because obviously then you've got a sight that's going to attach to it.
Yes.
So you need it, because normally they just butt up, don't they, into the fuselage cowling, instrument cowling. But this doesn't. It's very weird. So what I'm going to do is button this up, and I've managed to be able to slide it in after.
Yes.
Because obviously there is a massive gap once that's together. Once you put your cockpit and that stuff goes in. So you can get it up there and you can make it fit. But yeah, it's a very odd sort of fitment for it, if I'm honest. It's really vague. So a bit of super glue, I think, will be locking that in.
Yeah.
A bit of normal glue just to properly secure it. But apart from that, so yeah, that's my plan with that. And then if I get that sort of buttoned up, I was fiddling last night with the Henshaw. Let me just pull my camera back out so you can see. I started weathering one of the wings, because this is how it was before.
Yeah. And faded back.
Way too clean.
Yes.
So I've dug the oils out. I've made myself a new palette, because my other one was getting old. So that's been draining this morning for a couple of hours. And I might get on to weathering this back out. We'll see what happens with that. See what time is and stuff. But it's going to be going to make a re-entry to the Luftwaffe SIG probably.
So how old's that kit, and when did you build it? How long ago did you do that one?
Nathan, how long did I build this?
Well, that's been around for a good 5 years, hasn't it? At least.
I'd say 5 years. I'm going to say this is the Asagawa. This is the Revol boxing of the Asagawa kit that has now been reboxed by Hobby 2000.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's a great kit. It's a fantastic kit. Proper, like, vintage Asagawa.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm never happy with it when I built it. There's a couple of kits that are on the Luftwaffe kit, Luftwaffe SIG that I'm happy with. One of them's my Comet, which Nathan's got. And the other one was this, because it was just not, I don't know, it's just too clean and not how I wanted it. So yeah, but one of them I'm just going to re-weather it up. So yeah, that's probably going to be me this morning.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah. So
that'll be a good job.
What are you doing?
Me, I'm going to be carrying on with a hurricane. So you might remember on Thursday night we did the primal work, which is where are we? We go that one and that one. There we go. Which is now obviously totally dry, but then it did anyway because we were handling it and we were doing it, and it's got a really, really nice finish to it. It's lovely and smooth. We were talking about smooth and texture a lot during the show. There you go. It's exactly. You can see it's still got a little bit of a shine, which is always a bit of a clue that you're on the right path. So for this, we're going to be doing it in these markings here. So this one at the top. So this is the plan for us. So what we're going to be doing is coming in. I just log this down. There we go. Make it a bit easier in the spray booth as well. So obviously we'll start underneath, and we'll start with a lighter colour first. So we're going to come in with the sky on the underside. We're probably going to put sky around the band there, and I've got the spinner together as well as a loose bit, so we can do all of that sky first. And then I will probably, to be honest, just do the black, because that way the underside's done. So then we'll mask it off, and then we'll do the black, and then we'll do a little bit of post shading around with the black is the plan. And then obviously over the next few shows, we'll be coming up and we'll be doing the top as well. So we're just going to go down with the brown, and then obviously we'll put the green over the top of it as well. And it's quite a straightforward scheme on this one. I think this is the B scheme. So it hasn't got anything too complicated like, I think that's like the A scheme, is it? Is that version? Yeah. But this one's the B scheme, so it's a lot more straightforward. So the chances are we will just do small little paper masks on here just to make it dead easy. And then obviously the side ones are quite straightforward as well. So that's the plan for this particular one. So I'll be popping in the spray booth in a minute, and we'll start to get some paint on this, and we'll talk all things painting and air pressures and flow.
what paint you painting it in?
So we will be using, and I'd say I did have a couple of options for this.
What, light colour?
Tamiya, you can do it. No, light colour we're not, but I have got it in Tamiya and I've got it in Hataka here. But as I say, my sort of run to at the moment does tend to be the AK stuff. I do like it. So we're going to be going in, and because of speed and stuff like that, I will just do it in lacquers just because it's straightforward and it's quick. So that's it. It just saves a bit of time. So we've got the colours that we'll be using for this particular one are, in one, we have AK's RC290, which is the sky colour. Yep. So a close FS. I don't know how they can give it a federal standard code. But anyway, 3442. All right, is that one. And then obviously we've got the black I'll be using is my, sorry if I get it in camera shot, might be better. Is my camera moved? It used to be a lot higher.
Just the thing, Phil, isn't that a BS code? British standard code?
No, it actually says FS on it, look.
Oh, it should be BS, shouldn't it?
Well, you would have thought. But the BS code isn't that anyway.
I'm going to say, what?
So that's obviously just
that FS code then.
I have no idea. It's obviously what they're trying to work out from it. Anyway, we've also got the Tamiya XF85, which is my standard black color. I don't actually buy black. The only black color I actually buy is gloss black X1 in Tamiya, because I love that for doing sort of as the predecessor to anything metal going down. So I like it because it's a nice glossy finish, and obviously metallizers love it. But standard black, and it's the only black I really use, is XF85. It's got a slightly green hue, which you can see, but it works really, really well. And you can obviously do post shading, which will show with various other colors, including blues and stuff like that as well. So that's what we're using for the underside. Top side's pretty standard. We've got the dark earth and the dark green as well. And yeah, they don't actually give numbers for this one, so they don't do the old BS numbers. So anyway, your numbers for this one is 286 and 287 respectively. So again, and again, I've used these colours before, and they seem to be pretty darn good to my eye. And by the time we weather it anyway, and as we will do with this one, we're going to completely weather this down, make it look nice and dirty afterwards. So we'll be coming in with oils and post shading and stuff like that, and washes, as you might imagine. So yes, that's the plan with that one. And now I've got a 9-foot blue bottle flying around in here.
Oh, lovely! How nice.
Do you know what? I had one when I was trying to do the show the other day. I was doing a recorded show, and it came through, and literally I was waiting for it to fly out the door, which it did. And I shut the door, and as I shut it, I heard it hit the door trying to come back. So it flew into the door and was like...
Where were Lola when you needed her?
Yeah, that's it. Lola hates flies, our lab, so she will chase it down no luck. But I think, quite frankly, she's asleep because she's had a busy morning eating and then go back to bed.
It is a dog's life, literally, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. So anyway, right, what I would do is I will go round here, but I will leave this microphone on so you don't get too deafened with the other side for it. Okay. All right. and I'll switch between full screen when I've got important stuff to show and overall screens and stuff like that. If anybody's got anything in chat and questions, feel free now, shout out. And we can go around and answer your questions. Let me just retest our site. Let me just go to we'll look at.
I've had a look. Chat's not working.
Is it still not working? I'll just
I've just had a look. I've just tried it, so it's not playing today.
It's not playing. They must be fiddling with it. Apologies, everyone.
So it's having a Saturday morning off.
Yes, obviously.
Wonder if the devs thought Saturday morning would be a quiet time.
Probably, yeah. They've decided to pull the board or whatever they're doing on it. So, but yeah, we will sort it. We will get it back. It's not a problem. Sometimes this thing just literally clears itself. They're obviously working in the background, but they didn't tell me. So, brilliant. Anyway, good job. Mark says, love the Lancaster video film. Dead jealous. Thank you. As I say, I can highly, highly recommend it. If you are near Oldies Kirby or Nottingham or even Doncaster, it's not a million miles. How long will it take you to get there, Matt?
Hour, bet. I don't know, under an hour, bet.
Yeah.
We're next door to Lincolnshire, aren't we? So
yeah, because you're next one over.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but because it's a bit out in the sticks, isn't it? So
it is a little bit, and that is the thing. You're like, for us to get to Doncaster takes us about almost an hour less.
Yeah.
Or even though it's further, it's because it's in the sticks. So there's a bit of the old A road syndrome. You're not just legging it up on the old motorways.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you in a minute. I won't mind a trip out there now you've seen that.
Let's say really, really interesting. It's fascinating, really, to be honest.
So the mosquito's like a world-class restoration. It's pretty cool with the night fighter mosquito.
I tell you what, it's an hour and 38 from here.
Oh, well, there you go.
Via the M180 and the B12, because it is right. Oh God, it's not far from Mablethorpe and, like you say, Boston.
Boston, yeah. You got Skegness to the right of it. RAF Coningsby's only just down the road. They got the viewers thing. If I had time, I would have gone in there. But we arrived later than I thought because we got a little bit of traffic around. So, but yeah, that was the plan for that.
Yeah, it's just next door to Coningsby, like I say, isn't it?
That's it.
Still, mind you, loads out there, weren't there? So, yes, you're not far from the coast. Actually, we could have a trip out there and then just carry on to the coast.
What, Skegness?
Well, I won't go to
Do we have to?
I won't go to Skeg Vegas personally. Probably one of the others, but
we did it once. Remember?
Yes, I did. I do remember. Yes, yeah. Probably go to Mablethorpe or Jingle Bells.
Yes.
But while you're out there, it's not far, is it?
No, and that's the thing. It's quite local. Oh, God, my pegs are flying. Just need to tip up.
Lincolnshire Wolds, there we go. At least it's nice and flat, isn't it, out there?
Yeah, my car was banging along doing about 55 to the gallon that part of the world. It was lovely.
No, Jim, they used Humbro enamels on the Lancaster. And they're still wet now. Still not dry.
To be honest, it was that thing about, I did say about the colours for it, but the guys who do the painting for it weren't there. But I did ask if, sort of with the colours, do they just buy it off the shelf?
Did you really ask?
I did.
You absolute anorak.
Well, I asked all those questions, like, what's that yellow spot mean? And like, why is it this? All those questions you guys ask us, I asked. So I had it all written down and I was there. I was on it.
And the people working there were thinking, when is he going home? Because he's really annoying.
Yes. Yes. That was probably it, to be honest.
It is. If you've never been to Skeg Vegas, you've got to go and experience
it once.
Yeah, you've got to go and experience Skeg Vegas.
Once done, never again.
Don't be harsh.
Harsh on Skeg Vegas. Right, so I'll just prep up my airbrush. To say, lacquer thinners, I'm going to use rapid thinners because it's rapid, quick and easy. So I'm going to do everything by the ball today because I'm good like that. So I'm going to mix it in a colour cup. It's only because you guys are watching. I wouldn't normally.
Yeah, exactly.
But seeing as you're all here.
Yeah. Seeing I've got an audience, I'll do it.
I've got an audience, I better do it as we say, tell people to do it instead of just chucking it in and away we go.
So you got to do all your mixing ratios properly and everything.
Yes, this is it. So what we're going to do is we're going to chuck a squirt of thinners in here. And then we're just going to come along with our paint. Dollop some in there. Not going to need much really, I don't think. So always better to have too much paint and too little. You can always tip it back in your bottle because you're not changing the colour of the paint. So. All right, and then what we're going to do is just going to give it a mix.
Some plumpage.
So my mix is I tend to do it. So when you take your brush, if I just shove me onto the main a minute. There we go. So I always say if you run your paintbrush, once you've thoroughly mixed it, you lift it up, you should see the bristles. That's always just a starting place, you know, and until it's actually in your airbrush and actually being atomized, that's about as close as I can get to knowing what's going to happen at this point. And that's not too bad at all. So we're just going to come in. We're not going to put all of it in, we'll just put a little bit in. So straight off the bat, we'll check our flow. I know you probably can't hear the airbrush here, but when I press the trigger and pull back, there's no real change in the sound. There's no like hissing or cracking or anything else like that. It's not running on too much. It's not running on too slow or anything. So I'm quite happy with that. So it doesn't matter if we get any on this wing particularly because it's going to be all black. So we're just going to go right the way through. As I said, the silver on the inside of the wheel wells will hand paint that afterwards just for speed. So just for the minute, we're just going to come in. And one reason I like to use these paints is they've got phenomenal coverage. If you were doing this with pre-shading on, then I would highly recommend thinning it a little bit more because it does cover really, really nicely. Yeah, it's got like a satin finish. It's not like the normal AK paints that you might have used for armor, because the armor ones are very, very flat finish. This does have a certain bit of a shine to it. All right, so this is just coat one going down, which is quite a rough coat, as you can probably tell. So just going to go on again, just in these areas. All right, so with the first coat on, then we're just going to come in with a nice slow sucking coat. So again, starting at the wingtip, and we'll work our way back. And this one's going to be quite wet, so we're a bit slower and we're a lot closer. Good, did you see that?
Doing a grand job.
Cool.
Just answered Jim's question to me about the Revell glue. No, it's not like no, not like, well, solvent. They put does a Revell glue work like a solvent type of glue? You mean like an extra fit like this sort of stuff?
Does you mean if it's a weld action? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a hot glue, isn't it?
It's a hot glue, so it has got a weld action to it.
It's really good. My colleagues have answered that, thankfully.
I learned something today. Did you know there's a Vulcan that does fast taxis?
Ooh.
It's, where is it? Southend Airport.
Hmm.
I didn't know there was a second Vulcan in sort of running condition.
I know that one used to fire up its engines. I didn't know it does fast taxis though. I must admit.
There's the other Vulcan stuck at Doncaster, isn't it?
It is.
Or Finningley, as it used to be known.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh well, Southend's a little bit far for me to go to see a taxi run.
So we're just going to go over and do the band. Going to go a little bit further than we need, so that way we know we're in the right ballpark. There we go. So that is down and on, as you can see. Nice and shiny still. Looking quite wet just down in there. So what I'm just going to do is grab the spinner, which I've already done. And again, I haven't glued this together. It's literally just clicked, and it is like a click fit, this. So what I'll do is I'll dismantle it and take the actual box out. That's annoying. We're just running out of paint. Which obviously I've got way too much, but you might notice down in there how it's separating a little bit, and it will always separate. So make sure you keep mixing.
Keep it agitated.
Keep it agitated. Yeah, I think we need a little bit. To be honest, we will need a little bit more because I've got to do one door thinking about it. And if you're a normal modeler like me, you'll probably end up doing the wrong one. So it's probably worth doing both. Because you're going to paint one black anyway. So. Okay, so that's that done. I'm about to grab a door. Hopefully it's just here.
No, I don't think Doncaster is still open, to be honest. There's a load of warehouses and distribution and stuff on there, and I think the Vulcan lost its hangar it was in, but it got moved to another building on the site that are storing it for them, which is nice, because otherwise I don't know what they would have done with it. So I don't know what's happening with Don Airport, to be honest, either. You always hear rumours and stuff, but I think it's the people who own it, shall we say, or yeah.
To say the real colours are the gift that keeps giving, as you can see, I will tip this back. I've built now probably a good 4 or 5 aircraft, and we've still got the same amount of paint we started with.
Just get value for money, sorry.
You do. Their paint is incredibly thick. It covers exceptionally well. So you probably, if you're not used to them, you will have to thin them just a little bit more than probably you're used to. So we'll just give that a quick wash out. Oh.
They're nice, easy to paint to work with, though. I like them.
Yeah, that's it. They are very, very forgiving. I like them because they are forgiving. So when you are flooding it on or anything else like that, it's got good grip. It doesn't run as much as other people's. So yeah, get my thumbs up. Yeah. You're doing some fettling there, Nate?
Yeah, it might be me, the way I've put the undercarriage bay in. It's not, I'm getting a bit of a gap.
Is it not playing? Hey, oh, hello from Newcastle, Australia. Hello.
Oh.
Take a bit of plastic away. This is me rather than the kit, I think.
We'll just let that dry a minute and I can do some questions and things. Oh, you grab a multi. The members forum is open, Krista. It's just the chat room isn't. The chat room currently is kaput.
It's busted.
Who broke it? Who was last in there?
Us, probably, the other night.
Probably. Let me try it again.
Gone tech.
No, it is gone tech at the moment. I say, literally, I only knew it wasn't working 10 minutes, if that, before we were on air. And I was running behind anyway for this. So I haven't had a chance to reach out to the devs and say, fix it. So as soon as this is done, obviously I will be. But you know what it's like. By the time I get to it, it'll probably fix itself.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's just saying, the only thing I would say is that if you are logged in on other devices, i.e. your phone, your tablets, laptops, other computers, your main computer, log out of everything and come back in. That's what used to clear the problem. But yeah, the bit where it says no authentication token returned, it means it's checking your subscription. But it's doing it to everyone. It's doing it to me, and I don't even log in that way. So
yeah.
But yeah, so sorry about that. As soon as we get back and up and running, we'll let you know.
Yes.
Right. Let me just go back. Phil, how long are you going to hold off while you build the Harrier? Starting it next week. As I say, we've been getting, well, I've been quite busy with various stuff going on at the moment. And literally, it's one of those things. I need to make a bit of space and a bit of time. You might know we've actually finished the dozer now. that's completed. Final part of that will be up with you on Monday, although then there'll obviously be other bits coming up with doing the base for it. So as soon as I learn how to do it, I'll be doing that. And then we will be going to be getting on with the ICM Beaufort, and the Sea Harrier is going to be the long-term summer project. So again, the great thing about that is it's going to take forever because there's so much sanding and filling, so I can do that as we make our way through. So don't expect that one to be built in a month, because clearly it's not. And also I still need Andy to do me seat.
Well, actually, I would.
You know what I would do is I would send the parts to Andy and get him to fill them for you as well.
Well, this is true. I could just send in the kit. So can you fill and re-scribe and re-rivet everything, and then I'll put it together. Like said other modelers, could you build it and then I'll just paint it even?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
But yes.
Right, Ashley, is any hi, are there any tutorials on the Flory Dark Dirt Wash? Can I weather aircraft by just using the dark dirt wash?
Yes, you can. We've got full videos on it, obviously on the YouTube. God, I've got about 8 million tokens open here now because we're trying to get in. Right, okay. So, if you pop to the site, we just grab everyone. Okay, if you just go down in here and click on washes, there's a full video here showing it on the Hunter, just doing a standard wash on the Hunter. We've got other ones down in here showing it in a little bit more bite to it. So this is going over a satin finish, so it's going to give you a little bit more, you know, grime effect to it. So if you want just panel lines, you want to go over a gloss finish. If you want to have a bit more grime and a bit more dirt to it, then obviously it'll get caught in the texture. So you want to go over either a satin or a flat finish. If you've never used the wash before, don't use a flat finish. When you get to know it, then use a flat finish. You can go down in there. Then obviously there's various ways to take it off. So you can just use the old spitty rag, as I call it. All right. Or you can sand it off. So there's a video down in here showing how I did, because we had it proper dirty, the foxback. So we sanded it off because we've got raised and recessed details on this. So if you ever wanted to know about how you get panel lines with raised, you can sand the wash off. So, and you can do some really funky stuff when you sand it as well. There's things down in here with turrets and stuff, but basically, as you say, if you're doing it, I think we've got a before and after. Yeah, if you go over a gloss finish like here, you can see it's just literally a panel line wash. And as I say, there is other ones down in here. We showed the Vulcan with it, so you know you can see it going on the Vulcan. Here we go, before and after, and the Vulcan was more of a flat finish. So we wanted it to be really nice and grimy. So you can see we literally just put it down one side, completely let it dry, and then on the other side, just start wiping it away. And again, usual thing, you can use the staining effect, if you like, or like the streaking from it to your advantage by simply doing it in the direction of airflow. So it'll give you a sort of nice look to it as well. There it is on the top. So again, just wiped off. It's over probably a satin finish on this one. It's nice and clean, nice and smooth, and you just wipe it straight away. So yeah, it's very nice. If you don't like it, warm water, sponge, take it straight off. Again, there's other ones down in here. So the B52, depending on how you take it off again. So if you really clean apart, this is over a flat finish. You can see it gives a nice motley effect. And literally, as we worked our way through, each panel I treated separately, taking it off. So then eventually you end up with all different sort of degrees of dirtiness to it. And again, you just leave a little bit around the panel lines and things like that to give a little bit of weathering in. So that works really, really nicely. So again, it's one of those ones you can sand it off, you can just wipe it off, warm water. And there's a new video going to be coming out shortly as a standalone. Members have already seen it. And on that particular one, we do a technique of actually rinsing back. Because we did it on the dozer and there's so much diddly little tiny parts, you can't get in there with a cloth to take it off. So you put the wash onto it, you leave it, sit it on there and all the rest of it. In fact, hold on, I can show you some pictures of that as well if I grab them. Where are we?
Oh dear.
Bills. What's up?
Sorry, I was just reading the chat, not thinking somebody's been done by Revell again.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, on the Top Gun kit.
Oh, right.
The 2020 release or whatever it was, and realise it's a
horrendous old kit from the 80s.
Yeah.
If you go over into the dozer one, just down in here, which is the full build that's going on at the moment for members, you can get all these photos. They are all still fine for you. What you can do is, hold on, come in here. So the wash is on, normal. This is just the dark dirt wash, just on here like that. And then what you do, once it's dry, you just lightly go round and agitate it with a little bit of water. So you're not scrubbing at it to take it all away. You're just giving it like a rub right the way over, just to take off the heavy stuff. And then you rinse it off just with cold water. And it's always best to use cold water. If you use warm water, it comes off too easy. Think of ketchup on your plate. When it's dry, with cold water, it takes forever to wash off your plate. You do it with hot water, it just rinses off straight away. Do it the same way. So cold water works best. And then once it's off, it's in here. So it leaves it nice and blotchy and marbly and all the rest of it, where it's just sitting, and then you let it dry and it'll dry back just like that. So it's still around all the recesses and the raised details it'll cling to. But when you rub it back, you're just rinsing it clean straight off. You know, and that's a nice way of doing it. And again, just a little bit further down, we did something similar. We've got the thick wash going on and scrubbing back and rubbing through. So that's another one. Obviously, with the wash, if you're using the thick wash, it goes on like paint, really thick. You can scrub at it and scratch through, and that's how we did that. So yeah, works really, really well. And again, don't like it, warm water, soft brush, rinse it off, go again. But we did it with the dust wash as well, which will be coming out in the near future. There we go. And we blended in the dust wash with a brush. So you can sort of blend it and give it a nice dusty look as well. So
cool.
Very nice.
David's just put a thing up about the Corsair from Magic Factory.
Yes.
We do know about it, don't we?
Yes.
So, yes.
Yeah, Magic Factory are a new-ish company. New-ish. Just get that in there to cover all bases. They're new-ish. That I got contacted by them, when was it? Christmas? Don't know, can't remember when it was now.
Yeah, it was. It was around Christmas, wasn't it? I think
must have been around about Christmas. And they reached out to me saying, new company, all the rest of it. Yes, they are in China. I had thoughts, you see. So I contacted them back and said, yeah, you know, we're happy to work with you and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. Are you part of Trumpeter? Me being very honest, are you part of Meng? Who are you part of? And they are not. They say to me they are a standalone company. But being totally honest, and I'll pass it on, I don't think it's any secret, they use the same tooling companies as popular Chinese brands do.
Yeah, but there's not that many things out there.
So there isn't many that do it. But they do use the same tooling and the same injection molding company as other Chinese brands do. So that's why they look very similar. But apparently they are completely separate. But they sent me the Iron Dome. And as I say, I've spoken to them very recently. And hoping to hear a little bit back from them as well. To be honest, if it's just like their Iron Dome kit, should be all right. Should be good. Because the Iron Dome kit's really nice. And to be honest, some of the people who work there, I think have come from other places, shall we say. So, yeah. So it looks like their company is, you know, obviously started off on the right foot. Let's put it like that.
It does look good, doesn't it? Right, there was a question earlier. But I've lost it. Right. Paul Norman is building an F-35B with all the bays open. What's the best way to tackle the painting?
Carefully.
Paul, is it Paul who sent me that message? Was it Paul? Did you send me a message? Sorry, I haven't got back to you. One of the members asked me this exact same question. Again, this is one of those areas where I think you were saying that the bays and all the bits and pieces with the doors are molded in the sort of open position, so it's got all the things off. What I would do personally is paint all the wheel wells white internally first and do all of those. Then use some sponge. This stuff's absolutely great. You know, medium density foam that comes with all your packaging for your aftermarket stuff, because this is what this is. And then you can just poke it down in the holes and all the rest of it. You can do some touch-up works afterwards, but because they're quite in there, it's probably best to do it this way. Put them in, and then I would paint all the white bits completely as you would on the inside of all the doors and all the panels and all the rest of it. And you can either put a little bit of tape over it, a bit of masking tape to protect them, and then I would spray that grey colour on the outside coming in. And again, you can touch up again if you wanted to just in there. But that's how I would go for it. I think it's one of those ones where it, you know, there's no easy way to do it because there's lots of bays and things on them and lots of gaps and stuff. Again, I did I can't remember when we did where is it? Here it is. I This was a speed build, this thing. It was an absolute dream of a kit. So we whacked this together in an afternoon. Didn't really show too much on there, but it was the same type of principles. I sprayed all the white areas on the insides and all the rest of it before. Because it's a very nice kit. As I say, I think we did that as a weekend build or very much a speed build on that one. So that's the Hasegawa kit, which is great. It's like Bandai. Very, very nice indeed. So, Oh, sorry, Paul. As I say, with everything that's gone on this week, to be honest, I've spent most of this week editing. So I saved you all because total is about 3.5 hours of footage that I shot. So I could have made you sit through 3.5 hours PowerPoint presentation. Luckily, I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, so I saved you all from that one because there's far more knowledgeable people out there that can talk about Just Jane. Although, you know, it's got the old ice cream marks on the side.
Is it?
But yeah, on it, she's got, where is it? Hold on, we have to go in this way. Oh, God, I've got so many pages open here.
So when your other half says she's going to nip out for half an hour and 3 hours later she comes back.
Yeah.
My man's just come back after saying, I've just got to nip out somewhere and I'll be back before you start the show. So she left at 8:45, and what we're now, so yeah, here we go, 9:45.
Yeah, I must admit, I get the same, and normally that's because she's gone to a garden centre. And then I get home, and can you give us a hand? I thought you were popping out for 10 minutes. You've been gone all day and a car full of plants. Yeah, so up in the top side there, hold on, I'll just bring it up. There you go. You can see she's got bomb markings with ice creams.
All right, yeah.
So, again, these are slightly fictional on this one, because don't forget, Just Jane wasn't actually in the war. Don't mention the war. And but apparently the ice cream markings donated going into Italy.
Okay.
Apparently, again, you know, as I say, the joke was because it was a soft target. But yes, but ice cream in Italy, I suppose that goes.
Yeah, they're bombing ice cream shops.
So they're bombing ice cream factories.
Well, they bombed our fish and chip shops, didn't they? So
yeah, this is it. Yeah, does this mean Luftwaffe ones have got like a fish and chip symbol on the side of theirs?
It should do.
I tell you what, Dave. No, my wife is not a shoe person at all. She hates clothes shopping. She hates shoe shopping. I think she's been to see her mother. So yes, it's definitely not like shopping. And Jim's question at 6'3", Phil, are you 6'3" still, or shrunk yet?
No, I'm still about just over 6'3". Yeah.
Is that how was it moving around the Lancaster? I'm 3 inches shorter, and I had a spotted bother moving around a B17. Well,
yeah.
Look at Phil. He's like a racing snake. He's very agile for a
This
manipulate.
is it. There's a video of me going through from the tail to the front, but I did go in the rear gunner's seat. And to be honest, it was more roomy than I thought it would be. Bearing in mind, though, I'm literally in it in a t-shirt. So I think if you've got all your gear on, it'd probably be a little bit more compact in there. Yeah. But apparently this was one of the questions, and it was about, did they always stick the smallest person in the rear turret? Because obviously it's the smallest place. But apparently it's not. It's not true. The tallest person that ever went in there operationally on a mission was 6'7".
Wow.
So, but yeah. But no, moving through is pretty straightforward. I think there's probably a little bit more room in a Lancaster because it's a little bit bigger. The biggest problem I think you would have, though, if the actual mid-upper turret was there, the mechanism for it, because obviously it's not, otherwise you can't stand in it and go through and back and forth. But apparently that's the one big area. You've got to try and get past the turret mechanism, and there's not a lot of room to get around it. But getting across and all the rest of it actually is not too bad at all. The wing spar that everyone talks about trying to get over, it's all right. As long as you're quite nimble, get your leg over, so to speak, it's all right. The one place that's a little bit weird is down in the bomb aimers, for the upper turret as well, the front and forward turret, because the bomb aimer does the forward turret. And yeah, I must admit it's quite surreal, because I can imagine being down in there, being very exposed and very lonely as well, because you're literally stuck down there, as well as obviously the tail gunner, because he's down the back from the time the aircraft fires up to landing. They don't get out, where obviously the front guy, at least he could get out.
At least you're not stuck in the ball turret of a B-17.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably the worst
thing
to be
Phil,
anywhere.
you've just missed a trick there. You could have got your leg over in the back of a Lancaster.
I could. So
that might have been a bit of an audience, but you know.
But yeah, there's the bomb aimers one. So just above your head, which I might have a photo. Hold on. No, that's the tail. I don't think these are in any particular order. That's the trouble. Hold on. Where's the? I've got a picture looking upwards in here somewhere. I did have. There it is. So that's from that's the front turret. So what you actually do is the bomb aimer, it's literally right above him, and you have to watch your head because his seat is there. So, and it's literally just a saddle. It's like a little plank of wood you sit on, and because it's all hydraulics for moving the guns and that, and he has a leg dangling still down below him. But that must feel very exposed. I think that's probably the biggest lesson I learned from this is when you've been in it and you've been going around in it for half an hour and all the rest of it, you suddenly realise how exposed you are. And at the time, I suppose it would have been cutting edge, so they wouldn't have known it. But to me, I'm thinking this thing looks like a death trap, you know?
Yeah.
Let alone getting shot at and flak and flying in the dark and in low level and stuff like that with it. It's like, oh, absolute hats off. And especially when you think the crews would have been, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
Kids, really.
Absolute kids lagging around a Lancaster. It's like, I just can't imagine kids today doing that.
I bet one of the oldest was about 30, weren't he?
Do you know what? The oldest person, weirdly, was
ancient.
67.
Hey?
67-year-old. Apparently he fought in the First World War. And this is just what they tell me, by the way.
Yeah, but if he's 67, think about it. When he would have been in his 40s then.
Yes, well, he was a pilot in the First World War, and obviously he flew. He got the call and came up, and he was a tail gunner, and he was the oldest tail gunner ever to fly operationally at 67.
But I bet you were in the Boer War. But no, you do the maths.
Well, yeah,
it's
possibly.
Like Corporal Jones on Dad's Army.
Yeah, Corporal Jones in the back, but yeah.
Bloody hell!
Tell you what, while we're on Lancasters, if you need to read John Nichols' Lancaster book, it's really good. John Nichols was the navigator who got shot down in the Gulf. He's done a book on the Lancaster, and it reads really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good book. Gives you plenty of stories of crews. Tell you what, it wasn't a nice job.
No. That's it.
I think what would do me is if you're not the pilot, you're not in control.
No.
If you're in a fighter, if you're a fighter pilot, it's just you in your plane and you're kind of in control. You're not fully in control, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think when you're a team, a crew, you got to rely on each other, aren't you? And you're only as strong as I presume it's more luck as well.
Yes.
So. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't think my nerves want to cope with that. I don't think.
No.
I'd have been a wreck.
Imagine being a pilot when you've got no faith in your navigator, though.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
It's just I get the sense that I read, obviously I do a bit of commuting on the trains. I read John Nichols' book, and I tell you what, I wouldn't have liked to be on them.
No,
not at all. It looked horrendous.
So I've got the seatbelts in.
Hold on, let's come to you. Hold on, let's come to
right.
you. There we go. There we go. Oh no, it's Nathan. You're on different ones, isn't it? Looking very nice. They work, don't they?
Yeah, they look all right, don't they? I'll weather them down a bit. I'll give them a bit of a wash just to dirty them up a bit, but they'll do for what I'm doing with this.
Very nice.
This is also buttoned up, so I'm just going to put this to dry for a few hours so we can get the seam work done, and then we'll see if we can fit this cockpit in the bottom like it says on the instructions. That would be interesting. So,
more interesting would be you putting the instrument panel in.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. But I think now this is all thinking it will be quickly, get it together so we can get some primer on it. I think it will just fly now, to be honest. I've heard it's a bit of a problem around this wing joint.
Right.
But we'll see, because I don't know if...
Is that a spread issue from the bottom?
I think so. It could. Yeah, I think it's to do with the cockpit. So we'll see when the...
I can't remember. One kit I used to do a lot. I can't remember which one else had the same trouble. So what used to happen is it used to sit too tight inwards. So I used to cut a little bit of sprue and put it as a spreader inside. So I used to put the wing bottoms together and then the wing tops on, and you could measure it exactly how it was. And then I used to put some sprue into it to push it apart so it's the right width. So it might be worth having a measure up.
I'll do a bit of test fitting. So Peter of Oxley's in. Morning, Peter. And Paul's asked Nathan, what's this Luftwaffe SIG he keeps hearing about?
Right, it is the IPMS, which is the Plastic Modeler Society, have SIGs for just about everything. And I happen to run the Luftwaffe SIG, which does anything German and military. So there's a website, luftwaffesig.uk. You can have a quick look, or find us on the IPMS website, and it just so happens that I run it. And obviously,
so Nathan's like right Care Marshal, aren't you? Whatever it is.
Yes, that's it.
Like that, yeah.
Is that like Gurin then?
He's going to come out in his white suit.
I was going to say, or do you have a blue suit?
It could be a blue one. Baby blue suit.
Baby blue suit. He's going to put on some weight. He's going to put on a few pounds.
Don't tempt me. You can't go around dressed as Hermann Goering. I think it's a bit sort of not PC. Put it lightly.
I think you should dress up for Telford.
I don't think you should.
That's to dress as Hermann.
It would be funny, but no. I don't think he'd go down that well.
Right, there's a question before, and it keeps jumping, doesn't it? Are you going to review the Airfix F-35?
No, I could have actually chucked him one in.
You could have chucked one in. I know we got them in the store, haven't we? To be honest, I haven't thought about it because it's little 7-second one, isn't it? I could do. That's not a problem. If you guys want me to do it, we can do it. Matt can chuck me one down.
Well, or I can do one here.
Oh, you could do one.
We'll just go through it here and job done.
I was going to say, it's not a lot to it. Yeah, you could do it up there, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll just do one on a Tuesday store.
Does look like a nice kit, though. Do you know, it's a simple... I think because it's such a simple-looking airframe. I know there's lots of gadgets and wizardry inside it, but I think it was a good choice of subject for a simple kit because the lines are quite simple, aren't they?
Yes.
I do quite fancy building that kit.
Yeah, it's done as a starter type kit, so it's not going to be overly complicated. I imagine it's probably on the lines of the one that I did, like the Asagawa one, because that's not too technical.
No. I fancy building that, though. I fancy building an F-35, and that does seem like a quick way of getting one.
Do
you know what? I think I'm going to spend all morning today just prepping this thing for building.
Has the paint gone down on the Hurricane?
It's gone down very, very nicely. No problem at all, as expected, to be honest. It looks wonderbar.
Wonderbar, does it? Wonderbar.
So you can see it's got a really nice, smooth... Again, you know, I can't say this enough because the reason I probably bang on so much about texture is one of the biggest questions I get asked is, like, one, they've got texture, or secondly, they have problems with their weathering at a later stage, or decaling. And it all goes back to your paint finish. So if you've got a nice smooth, like this is like a satin paint anyway, so as you can see, it's got a nice smoothie finish to it and all the rest of it. And there's just no texture in this at all. So this means that I'd be quite happily to decal straight onto this and do any weathering with it at all, because I can just feel that there's no texture, there's no roughness anywhere at all. And that's really what you're trying to achieve. But if you do get texture here, and then you try and your decals and you end up with silvering, or they won't go down properly, they don't conform. That's normally because of the surface. And then when you get into washes and stuff like that, not only my wash, the clay wash, but oils and stuff, and they get stuck. It's funny how it can, snowball into a really, really big problem, which should have been dealt with a long time ago. So just getting a nice smooth finish, I think it's sort of the key. But I'm just masking up now, as you see. So the front is just in the normal colour. It's only the wing bit. So now I'm just going to mask carefully down through here. And then obviously we'll paint this section black in a minute, is the plan. So, yes, going well. Are Tamiya releasing an F-35C? Well, yeah. So, well, it's not a collaboration with Italy, but they're talking about it together. So I don't know how this actually works. Can somebody enlighten me to how the fact they can say we're not actually, it's nothing to do with the Tallery, but we're working on a kit that Tallery did and we've upgraded it, but it's nothing to do. I don't understand how this works.
No.
They do Reeboks to Tallery stuff.
Well, this is it. But they've made it quite clear it's nothing to do with the Tallery, and I'm like, how does that actually work?
I don't know.
I don't understand how that can actually work, because it's, yeah.
It's Tallery, though. I've got some really good toolings and then some really not so good ones.
Yeah, but most of the 72nd fleet is the Tallery one, isn't it, in bulk, if you look at it that way. I know there's notable exceptions, but
I don't know.
It is a bit weird.
They do a lot of Italy reboxings. So especially in 72nd. It's a bit weird, really. I've always thought it's a bit odd.
Because obviously they've done the A, Italy have done the B.
Yeah.
They're nothing to do with each other, but they're both bringing out a C.
in a collaboration.
In a non-collaboration, but they're both doing it together. I think it's just probably one of these things lost in translation. But when you read it, it was like, we're nothing to do with Tamiya and we're nothing to do with Italy. They're both saying, but we're bringing out one that we've been working on together.
It's a joint venture.
So that sounds like it's a joint venture, but it's not.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? But...
Right, so a bit of TP on here.
Yeah, they do. Do they do an F? No, it's what's the F-35 then from?
They do the B. Tamiya do the A, they do the B, and then it's the C that we're waiting on, which is a non-collab between both. And it's like, yeah.
I think chat's still dead on the site, isn't it? I'm not checked actually.
Hold on, I'll have a ping.
I'll have a look. So you carry on, I'll do it. I'll just refresh.
But has the C just got? No. Obviously, it's got different undercarriage, but is the airframe the same apart from the wings?
No, it's still busted.
So the airframe's technically an A, but yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than that because it's a bigger aircraft. It's got bigger wings. Obviously, it's got different undercarriage. It's got the twin nose wheel.
I'm just wondering if they can take existing sprues and just do another sprue and get a C out of it, and that's how it's a collaboration then.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones because you could just turn around and say, yes, it is, but I'm sure it's probably a little bit more different to that because obviously it's got a tail hook thing down the back fairing, which will be slightly different, obviously, to the A's one. It's obviously got beefed up nose gear, so I assume the wheel well must be a different configuration as well. So...
Right then, we have a question. How do I keep my air compressor from buzzing all over the table? Put it on the floor.
Put it on the floor and stand it on something like a bit of rubber or a couple of sheets of carpet or an old mat, and it will stop it vibrating.
I've got mine on a couple. You know what you get for florists, the foam.
Yeah, foam stuff. Yeah, high density foam.
I've got it raised on that. To be honest, I'll tell you what I am going to do today is drain mine, or yours, or Andy's, whoever it is that I've got here. I can't say it's mine because technically it's not, but I'm going to drain it today. I'm going to go and empty it because I can't remember last time it was actually done, which is a bit worrying.
Yes.
I am. I'm going to check it and do a bit of an oil check, I think.
You don't need to do oil. They're oil free.
Yeah, but I might check the oil anyway.
It says here the F-35C doesn't have an internal gun.
But well, that'll be it as well.
Didn't the US Navy have problems with that in Vietnam?
They did with the Phantom, yes.
So history's repeated itself then, has it?
Well, considering they've touted it as a replacement for the A-10 as well.
And is the F-35C an air-to-air interceptor fleet defence aircraft?
They don't have those anymore. It's technically under multi-role, isn't it? There's no such thing as an air defence system. It's not like the good old days of the F-14s and Crusaders used to be the fleet defence.
But it is potentially rolled for doing that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought so strange to have a gun.
The F-18 Hornet, don't forget, isn't going anywhere for a while, and that's just been upgraded, isn't it, to a new block where it's got all the big giant TV screen like the F-35 has instead of a traditional instrument panel on that. So I think it'll just be one of those. The F-35C will be the stealthy one that goes in first,
Right.
And then the Hornets will follow up, being all the heavy hitters and carrying a lot more.
Just sweep up all around. Mind you, the F-35 in close combat, something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and that's what a lot of people say, isn't it? It's a bit like, oh, well, we F-16 shot down F-35. Yeah, but in theory, the F-16 should never have seen the F-35 in the first place. It should have been dead a long time ago, a bit like Raptors. If you see them, something's gone really, really wrong.
I was watching a YouTube thing the other day. They're saying like the Chinese Air Force are going to, if it ever came to it, would put up loads of aircraft just to absorb AMRAAMs.
Mm.
I thought, really?
That's where they came up with the idea, really, to turn the B-1, wasn't it, into a bomb truck. So the B-1 could carry pylons and internal racks of everything, of AMRAAMs, and the new modern AMRAAM as well. And the F-35s would designate it, and Raptors would designate the targets. And then the B-1 bombers would literally just ripple off tons of, AMRAAMs, let them all go pitball, and off you go, isn't it? So you could turn around and run back and reload.
So Paul's asking, does the B have a gun?
Yes. Yes, ours has a gun, doesn't it?
I always think I was tempted to build an F-35 after seeing one at Riyadh a couple of years ago.
Mm.
But the Airfix one is the way I'll do it, because I just a nice quick build.
Yeah, the Hasegawa one's a really nice kit as well.
What's this growling sidewinder DCS?
Yeah, he's a YouTuber who does DCS. I fly DCS. I was flying it this morning for half hour. I was online. At 6 o'clock this morning, I wanted to know what the new flight model for the Apache was like.
So, what did you manage to do? A flight check, and that was it?
It was literally a little flight check. I took off, flew it around for half hour just to have a go, and then brought it back.
I'm terrible at flight sims. I can't do anything on it.
Not Tornado low level for the Spectrum, is it?
That was a good one, that was.
That was brilliant.
Classic.
Or Harrier Attack was the other one, weren't it?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mm.
Do you know, weirdly, I think a flight sim is the reason I build lots of German aircraft, because there was a Battle of Britain flight sim back in the day.
Mm.
And you could set it to infinite ammo.
That's it.
The 109s had cannons. You could just blast everything out of the sky with them. And I think that's why I preferred flying the 109s. I think that has meant, like, 30 years later, I still want building all these German things.
Imagine that. Can you remember the P-38 game? Was it Midway or something? You know, like
Yes.
it was a scrolling one, and you used to.
Yeah, it was a 2D one, wasn't it? You just went forward, and it was coming back at you. Arcade one. Yeah, I remember that. Midway.
So I'm talking Amiga, the Commodore Amiga era. That's a flight. That was my flight sim era.
I must admit, that's why I started off on the Commodore 64, and then went up to the Amiga 500. Yep. And then I had a 386, 486. Then we went over to Pentium and all the rest of it. And now I'm spending way too much money on it.
I think because I went back in, how many years ago now? I went the Apple Mac route. That killed off flight sims for me because they just don't exist.
No, that's right. That's the trouble. When you go down the Mac route, that's why I've never gone down the Mac route, because I can't do flight sims. So.
But I just love playing. I just love setting this Battle of Britain flight sim to infinite ammo. Just off you go. I could cope with World War II flight sims because I could land them. I found the jet ones were just, I couldn't land the flipping things. But I could land a Spitfire or a 109.
Desert Strike, I remember that.
Yeah, Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. I remember that as well. That was a good one.
Oh,
checkered flag. Jesus.
Microprose F-19.
Hey, Microprose are coming back. They're going to re-release Falcon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently they're bringing back Falcon in a new version. If this is ever going to go as much as the others, I don't know. But it, yeah. Yeah, I used to like Jane's F-15 as well. That was a good one. And then obviously Jane's Longbow.
I feel like a dentist doing some sort of filling work here, just opening up. So if anyone gets this Airfix Hurricane, test fit and test fit and test fit again.
Which mark you got there, Nathan? Mark what?
This is the Mark. Don't know. That one. I've had this kit a while. Look, it's Model Zone 599.
Let's have a look at it, Nate.
Mark 2C.
Oh, that one. I built the Mark 1, the early one as well, with the 2-blade prop.
Yeah. It's not a bad kit. It's just it fits, but I would have to glue everything under a load of pressure to get it a good joint. So I'm just endlessly. There's loads of plastic dust everywhere now.
Missing.
Armour Hobbies does Armour Hobbies do a Mark 2?
Yeah, they do every version of a Mark 2, I think.
Yeah.
I think Armour Hobbies is probably the way to go nowadays.
You need to do a Mark 2 trop.
It's funny how I've all ended up on like a desert theme by accident, isn't it? Because this is you can do a desert one out of this.
I was just having a think of like schemes I like to do. You know, desert's got to be up there. Desert. Yeah. Top of the.
I've never really done it. That's the weird thing with me. I've never really done desert schemes.
I think it's a break from the greens and greys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I won't say it's a challenge to weather, but it is a bit more. You got to think about it because you're going to stay away from quite dark, depending on obviously where it is. But I think my favourite probably two. Actually, it's probably three favourite aircraft schemes. Is the one Phil's going to do on the Beaufort, the sea camo, and the Israeli camo.
I think the Sufa's on my. Sufa is definitely on my bucket list build.
And probably Lake War Luftwaffe stuff when it was just all over the shop.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, I must admit, I quite fancy doing another Israeli something else.
What would you do?
I don't know. That's the thing. I quite fancy just because I like the Israeli colour scheme. You know.
I think it's the green. No, the light green. Sorry, Nave.
Yeah.
I think it's the light green, and on the sea camo, it's the tan with the greens. I just think they're just cool. That's better. Let's brighten that up a bit. Nice. Look at that.
Oh God. One of those kits that they want you to fit the cannons into the wing leading edge before you glue the wings together.
Oh.
And we can't be having that because they will not survive.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so black coat going on. This is just obviously Tammy's XF85. Now this is a flat paint. So again, it's one of those where we're just going to put it on as one coat and then obviously we'll go through. I thinned it quite a bit just to make it a little bit more smoother. But you can probably see it's not as flowing as nicely. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put down a coat first and then we'll come back. So it's a little bit thicker purely because we've got masking around in here. So it all gives it a chance to get in. So the leading edges of the wings, so it's right up so we don't have any problems.
Just to think, someone was asking about a B-52 kit. What scale? Because if you go into 1144, somebody's put the Great Wall Hobbies one, but the Academy one's quite nice as well.
Yeah.
And then if you go in bigger one, it's the one Phil built, which is what make is it Phil? Can't remember.
A model
collect. That was it. Yeah. Yeah, the 1144 ones are nice.
So spray this on, looking nice and wet. Because we want it to smooth out. So the paint's a little bit thin, as we were saying. So hopefully it gives a nice thinned look. So that's the black on. But you can probably see how wet that is. But it will dry back very nicely. So we'll just let that go. But hopefully what will happen is it will dry a lot flatter than obviously what we've been over here. So if you wanted to, you could give it a satin coat right the way over just to bring it up to this level. But hopefully it'll still be a nice smooth finish, what we're saying about texture. So there's that. So we'll just let that dry a second. And I'll grab a clip. So cheap gate tip, pro tip. These are just electrical connectors. You can buy a bag of these off of Amazon for next to now. And these are, what you call them, bamboo skewers for the barbecue. So literally just shove these in here, and then obviously you've got a screw, and just screw it up, and it holds it in place beautifully. The great thing about using these is the teeth are quite sharp, so it will grab small parts and they don't ping off like reverse action scissors do and all the rest of it. And for the cost, you've got a point as well, so you can stick them into an Oasis, or I've just got some polystyrene blocks for standing them up, and it's just a really quick, cheap way of doing it. Again, nice wet coat so it smooths out. Very nice. You can stick that in your little block. This can come over here. Very nice. Phil, your Lancaster video visit was brilliant. Thanks for sharing it. No problem at all. Thank you to the team who paid for it.
You're welcome.
So yes, I was sponsored by the team to do that trip. You do realise we're all coming up to 50, apart from Andy and John, so we don't have to worry about them. So this is it now. It started a precedence, isn't it? Yeah. I wonder if we can get a bulk deal and we just send you all there. Matt can go there next year. A couple of years, then you got Nathan. So
few years yet. Few years yet, I might add. Not many, though. Not as many as I'd like anymore. Right. I've got to make a decision. Do I do some proper engineering on these guns, or just fudge it?
Fudge it.
Because I'm thinking, what if you're a proper modeler?
Yeah.
Cut them off. You put some pins in, or if you're more like me, you just get some super glue and wing it.
Yeah, just super glue them in, and hopefully they all point the same direction, or not like that.
I think what I'll do is just cut the backing plate off, put that behind it, and then just wing it. I've colour coded it so I know which one goes where. Like, but it's a shame they've done that way, because you just know you need to sand the leading edge. You can't do that with the cannons there. I mean, what a proper modeler would do is get some aftermarket guns. I might do that, you know.
Oh, you're going to get some master
guns, because the cannons on this are fairly prominent, aren't they? Cut that off there.
While I've been unpacking my Tesco's away, Phil has managed to mask the entire paintwork. I have no idea how you can mask the AKs that fast. Rapid drying thinners. Yes,
right, here's a question from Alistair. What's the Italeri B52 like? That's a big.
Oh God, that's the old Testers one.
Yeah, it's very, very old. Very, very old.
Very old.
Yeah, so the other thing as well, I keep all my tape, so because I'm cheap. So tape down in here, I've got a nice side of a bench cupboard, and all my tape gets stuck down under here for reusing a little bit later on. Sorry, yes, the B52 is definitely showing its age in that kit.
Yeah, there's definitely better options out there.
If you want a little one, I think the mini art one, is it?
Mini art.
Not mini art. Oh, no, it's the Academy one, isn't it?
Yeah, they have said the Academy ones are really nice and not very expensive. And then if you want to go up a level, I'd go for the Great Wall Hobbies in 144.
Yeah.
There's some nicer options out there now, I think.
Did you say that one built Really nice. Really enjoyed that one. It was, as I say, I made challenges on that off my own back by trying to do distressed skin. I'm amazed there's any plastic left on it.
Yeah, that was a bit squeaky bum time, wasn't it?
It was.
Whether you could retrieve it.
You're looking at the fuselage and see light through it. You're like, ah. Anyway, where's Andy this morning? Is he shopping?
He's had to go out.
Oh, is he?
Gone to sort out Sam's passport.
Oh.
He's gone to sort out Sam's ironing.
Yeah, he's doing his ironing for him.
Yep. That's the problem when you're doing thingy kits, knocking parts off. Yes. Already built stuff, isn't it?
Kit restoration, eh?
There we go. We have a wing done. Right, give that a bit, and then we'll get some brown on it, I reckon. We're on a roll.
Andy's living the student life, and Sam's dig.
Oh, look, he's there, look.
Oh, he is there.
That sounded the guy picking you guys on his computer. God, come on, Andy.
When I suggested what you do with the Sea Harrier. I seriously would delegate filling the rivets on that thing. Is it the sort of thing you can do while you're watching a film on TV?
Probably, yeah. To be honest, I spend a lot of time when I'm sat here doing the really boring stuff, and I have like Netflix, and I can just. But I always find I have to put a film I've seen like a million times on. Otherwise, I'll be watching the film. But if it's background noise, it's quite pleasant. You can rattle through stuff really quickly. So you have to go back and revisit an old film.
Podcasts, mate. Podcasts are the thing to listen to.
Yeah, well, I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks many years ago. I really got into audiobooks, and I used to listen to them all the time when I was working.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's funny how you sort of phase through things.
I've probably now got into my lo-fi background music stuff.
I could hear that again on yesterday. Was it Thursday night?
It's
got it on now. I could hear it on Thursday.
Yeah. Got it on now. It's just nice background noise, to be honest. Quite chilled.
Hi guys, what would you recommend for a B17 in 1/72 scale?
Airfix.
Yeah, the Airfix one's a good shout.
Ravel's all right.
The Ravel one's good kit as well, actually. Airfix the newer one out of the two, but
yeah,
either or I think is pretty good.
I think, at the end of the day, you've got quite nice options with like Hasegawa and obviously for the Airfix B17s. Sorry, Lancasters as well.
Oh, the Airfix, new Airfix Lancasters.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
That's because the Ravel one doesn't have the dihedral in the wing properly.
In the wings, yeah.
The Airfix one's got no such problems.
What's my go-to film? Oh God, it's a bit like my music. It's very eclectic. I will go in pretty much any genre. Normally some type of sci-fi. I like me sci-fi. But again, I don't mind sort of war films, the usual sort of mindless stuff like John Wick.
Yeah.
So it's the nice thing when your partner works in the NHS and does 12-hour shifts, because then when she's working, I can watch my crap, as she calls it. Although she likes a good murder, which is somewhat worrying.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I absolutely love the latest Top Gun. I thought that was fantastic. Took me ages to get around to watching it, but I thought, wow.
Yes.
That was a brilliant film. Why is everybody going on about Fortnum and Mason hampers? Has someone won the lottery or something?
What's one of them? I've never had one.
Perhaps they're going to send us all one.
Oh, yeah. I'll have one.
Hey, look, I got a cider delivery doing this last week. It was great.
Yeah,
do you know what I've got coming today by Amazon? We were talking about it, Matt. A mower blade. Because my other half yesterday, I was editing and I had the mower do the obligatory donk and stop dead. And she's hit a different tree stump. Last time she destroyed the one out the front and she hit the tree stump. It's only been there for the last 20 years. And then she hit the one out the back and she was with me when we cut the tree down.
Oh dear.
So she can't say she didn't know where it was. But yeah, so it's that far out. I tried to straighten it like you do. And now you're like, my hands are numb.
Do you know what? For the price of one, it's not worth it.
I know, yeah. £9.80 from Amazon, next day delivery. I'm like, I'll just order one in.
I'm going to fit that when we've done here. I'm going to fit that one and mow the front lawn. It's getting a bit wild, and the weather's actually lovely here today. So I'm going to actually want to do a bit of gardening this weekend, which isn't like me at all. I hate gardening, but
I can't stand mowing the lawn.
It's getting to the point where it's annoying me.
Yes.
And it has to be done. So
my wife has done the funniest thing to a lawnmower ever, where she's mowing, it cuts out and she can't work out why. But it's because the wire's in two halves.
Yeah, she's gone through the wire.
Our lawnmower has about a 5-foot cable.
Oh, right. Okay.
But they're looking at it, trying to work out why it's suddenly switched off. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be why.
So Peter, kinetic carriers, your favourite, aren't they?
Do you know what, Peter? If you don't stop going on, I'm going to build one just to prove that they're not a problem.
And then you'll run.
I'll build another one. That's it. I'm going to do a series of FFRS ones just to prove that he's got it over the top. I've built that kit.
Does it have to be a Sharky Ward one if you're building a Harrier?
Well, yeah, obviously. I must admit, I've read all his books. Very good.
His interviews they're on YouTube, but he did an interview for the Imperial War Museum. His interview is fantastic.
I've been following their channel. It's actually been really interesting. Their YouTube channel.
I love World War II TV. If I'm in here on my own, I have that one.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
He's a fella that's a Normandy battlefield tour person, but obviously in the pandemic, he's like
I've got no to do.
I earn a living. So he does like interviews with historians, and the videos are about 90 minutes, maybe at most 2 hours, and he does themes of World War II. That's some really good. It's good, like it's basically a podcast. You can listen to it.
Yeah.
Occasionally glance up when they're talking about maps and things. You name it, he's done a video on it if it's World War II.
Maps.
Oh god. Yeah, Christopher's given me a thumbs up. It is a really good channel. I like the one called 10% True as well. He does aircrew interviews.
So I'm just sending a quick message to our nice devs for the forum saying what's wrong with our chat room. So I've just tried them and it's just gone straight to email. So their live tech isn't working either. So there you go.
They've been hacked.
The trouble is that I'm worried because if I do this, they might phone me back. So I just won't answer my phone.
Put it on silent.
Andrew, what time is it? They're in the States, aren't they, the devs? What time is it? Do they do 24-hour support?
It is, yeah. It is 24/7. Yeah.
Well, that's off to him.
Some poor bugger on the night shift or whatever time, wherever they are.
So Peters said his Kinetic F16 has got a few low points.
You're not a fan of Kinetic, are you, Peter? Don't buy them.
Kinetic are the company you love to hate because I love the kits, but they're just not quite right.
Do you know what? Do you think they've took over from Kitty or?
I think so, because I think they do really good subjects. Their kits are brilliant. There's just that last little bit of just like the Mirage that I built drove me up the flipping wall. But now I look at it built, it's like yes.
There's not a lot of other options though, is there?
No. And they've done an F16A, you know, to Tamiya sort of tooling detail standard, but it's not Tamiya. I think it's inflated expectation, you know.
Could be. Yeah,
I don't think we're willing to. I think the Qatari Spitfire's like that.
I don't know yet. Let's see. Let's see what the review comes out as.
We have such high expectation that we're not willing to forgive what we might forgive somewhere else, like on a Revell kit.
Well, me and Phil had a discussion about that Spitfire, didn't we, Phil?
Yes.
And I think, obviously, we'll discuss this when you've reviewed it to see if it actually holds any water before we put it out there publicly.
Yeah.
But, I think what Nathan is saying is probably correct in the expectation to,
It's like the thing with like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars movies. People have put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And they are really good films, but people hammer them because of some sort of inflated ideal that they've got in their head. You go into a Star Wars movie with such high hopes.
And again, that is, like I've said, I think that's definitely the trouble with this Spitfire, is that everybody has an expectation for it to be a Wing Nut Wings kit.
Mm.
And clearly this isn't a Wing Nut Wings kit because it's not Wing Nut Wings doing it. And it's not just who designs it, as we now know. We've spoken to Airfix. We've gone right the way through the thing with Airfix. From the design process, talking to Pranjit, to the actual tooling process, right the way through to the 3D renders from it, and then obviously the actual proper, sprue shots coming off and the test shots and how they get changed. Everything can go wrong at each one of these stages, and it takes all of those to work together to give you a near on perfect kit, like we were getting with Wing Nut Wings. So for another company, and they are another company, just to come along and to tick all those boxes as well, and come in at a price point which is acceptable, Yeah,
that's it, isn't it?
Because again, we've said before, is that, not being funny, if I had the money, clearly I don't, but if we did, I could throw a large chunk of money and develop a perfect Spitfire. But it's going to be a lot more than what people would want to ever pay for it, so it wouldn't work. There has to be a point where it becomes value for money and people are willing to buy it in enough numbers to make it a viable option as well. Because as we said before, there's no such thing as a perfect kit because you're limited on money, unless you are talking, and there are kits out there which you can do through different genres and stuff, which cost thousands. What is that tank company who make the scale model tanks that cost
the big
thousands?
Stuff. God,
yeah.
Yes. I don't. Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't remember.
But you know what I mean? If you've got that money, it's either you buy one of those radio controlled tanks or a good car, because they run into thousands to do it. Then they're very nice. But how many are they actually realistically going to sell? And again, you still hear people having problems with those things and all the rest of it. So I think it's one of those things where I think people just assume that because you're a model making company, you're cheapskating people for a reason, or for whatever it is. But a lot of things have to be done to a price, because if you're not making money, you're not going to have a company.
Could you imagine Qatari's inbox for their emails? Because you just
yeah.
The thing is, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So you're in that realm, aren't you?
We've heard about kits, and I'm not going to say which ones and all the rest of it, but we've spoken to manufacturers and they are so deep into a kit that they've got to release it, even though it's not right, because if they don't get the money back in, the company's going to go under. So they are literally between a rock and a hard place. They know they're sending out a kit that's not perfect, and they would like it to be perfect, but they physically cannot afford to make it perfect. And that's a really, really shitty stick to be in, to have hold of, because it's not perfect and you want to make it perfect the next one. But to get to that next kit or to do something to it, you need to make more money to do it. Because investors and that, which you've probably got with these companies, will only give you so much money before they're thinking, where's my money back?
It's like Peter Jackson's accountants, didn't they?
Well, absolutely. You
have to pull the plug because they can't just hemorrhage cash infinitely, can they?
No.
I think it's the worst. It is the nightmare for cash flow. You spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands in development and tooling, and you haven't literally not made a penny off it.
Yeah, you've not made a penny yet. Until it gets out there to the distributors or to the customers, you're not making a penny. So you've got all of those years. That's assume an average is say 2 years on a high quality kit. You've got 2 years worth of that money being hemorrhaged into it before you make a penny back, only to find out everyone hates your kit and gets slandered on the internet and no one buys it.
Yep.
We can see why these companies play safe with the subject matters.
And that's what we said, isn't it? That's why you need a banker. That's because you need a Spitfire. You need a 109 in your kit. You know, you need a Tiger tank. You know, these are your bread and butter stuff that people will buy. You know, which pays for you to develop into other areas and different versions. You know, so.
Well, look at when Peter's made the point about a valid comparison these days might be the Zukimura kits and the Kataria ones, but look at Zukimura's catalogue. It is all just safe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Totally safe. Yeah. Absolutely.
They're a business, aren't they? I mean, Dave just put here. It's there's possibly a degree of guitar still being on a list. Of course, it's the first kit. You know, you've got to give them a bit of slack because.
Well, we know for a fact that it got a bit of a rough ride, didn't it, when it first got released, when the test shots came out, and they went back and retooled it. So that would have cost an absolute shed load of money to go back because the cab work's got to be done and the tooling's got to be changed. So it means it's either got to be, you know, fixed in a system or it's new tooling. And say tooling is horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
The way to look at it, right? Would you rather have the Qatari Spitfire or no Spitfire?
Well, that's it. It's like, do you want it or not?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I will be impartial. I must admit, I'm looking forward to doing it, and I'll do it on Sunday, and then it'll be up next week. And, you know, at the end of the day, as you say, I will be gentle with it because it is their first outing and it is a new company and all the rest of it, you know. But, yeah, again, it's I think people sometimes get too much involved with the old interweb, you know. And things are said, shall we say, on the internet for effect.
Oh God,
you know?
clickbait.
So, and it's clickbait. At the end of the day, it's clickbait. They put something about the Qatari Spitfire shit, and you put it all on. Everybody will click on it. They get a couple of thousand new views. They earn about 25p, you know, and that's it. Or they get a load more, you know, people subscribing to the channel and all things like that. And it's literally done for clickbait to keep your nose ahead.
It's terrible. It is. They've got. I think that's the point. This is probably like journalists are responsible in what they say. You know, work for a newspaper. They've got to research, back it up, because otherwise they'll end up dragged through the court.
Yeah.
A YouTuber can
I think it's
put a load of nonsense out and then ruin a kit. Because
I do think it's the same with people reviewing stuff, if I'm honest. I think you've got to be fair. I think you've obviously got to give it a fair review and not clickbait. Anyway, Phil.
Yes.
Will you rate a hangar space to store the Harrier when it's done? No, Jim, he's going to send it to you. You're having it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't know where to put the F-15 at the moment because it hasn't got a tail and I can't hang it like I do the others.
You know what you do with it, Phil? Bin it.
Bin it. But no, the F-15's over there gathering dust. Do you know what's the best thing? Hang them on the wall. I'll tell you why. Because I brought down that Lancaster for the Thursday show, whatever it was, when I was recording it. It's the one you saw on Friday. There's not a speck of dust on that because it hangs there. Everything else in here gets covered in dust and crap and all the rest of it. But when they're hanging on the wall like that, straight down, flat, no dust on it at all. I was amazed how clean it was.
I'm probably going down rabbit holes.
It is, but you've only got so much blooming wall space.
Well, yeah, I am running out of wall space now. It's a bit like I've got that very nice thing I showed you, you know, the big framed photo for the Lancaster, and you get your certificate and all the rest of it. I have no idea where that's going to go.
Bathroom.
Yeah, it's going to go in the loo. Yeah. But yeah, I have no idea where to put it. Got a lovely picture, and it's like, where are we going to put it? I have no idea.
When you sat there on the throne, you can gaze at it.
Yes, that's it. I can reminisce.
Hello to Germany. Jost is online. Loves the channel, especially the live shows. All this chaos and random.
There's a few of them, isn't there, coming up?
Yes. One or two live shows.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I should do it. I should go back and watch one of the ones we did in the pandemic because that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yes. Yeah, doing the daily shows back then. Crikey.
So what Jim's saying, Phil, is... Sorry, Dave. What Jim's saying is he's not prepared to pay the postage for one of your masterpieces, Phil. I'd be insulted.
Oh, is that what you said? Crikey. That's not nice. To be honest with you, I might actually have already found a home for it. But I don't want to say anything yet until I know it's all right. Because seeing as I've not even gone near it yet, it'd be a bit presumptuous to say to someone, I've got a present for you. But I do know somebody who used to be an old client of mine, and he can have it as a freebie.
Hey, I'm sure your mother will be over the moon with 124
on the dining room table.
Yeah. They'll built for you.
Do you know what? I built them years ago, and it was that Dragon Mustang, right? So I built them that, and to be honest, I hadn't been in contact with my family for many years, and it was one of the things. So my dad said, "Oh, that's nice." I said, "Oh, do you want it? You can have it." And he said, "Oh, that'd be lovely." So anyway, he had it, and he had it in his office. And obviously, when he died a couple of years back, my mother threw it out.
What? She didn't even ask you?
She didn't even ask me. She goes, "Oh no, I threw it away. It was falling apart. Bits had fallen off of it anyway." I was like, "Oh, thanks for that."
That took me to me.
You'd rather have not known, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's it. I was like, "Oh, thanks, Mum." So I just said to him, I was up in his office, and I said, "Where's his plane gone?" Because he used to have it on his desk, and it's like, "Oh no, I threw that away. Yeah, bits falling off it anyway." Thanks.
So Peter's put an interesting post up. I won't say what Peter rated the Qatari Spitfire, not to sort of colour Phil's judgment. But this is there's a window here on YouTube that he gave it a score, a high one,
right?
Yeah, and he got flamed, and that's why my YouTube channel doesn't exist anymore. Because people are a bit of a bugger.
People are vicious.
Well, sod it. So the other side of the coin is sometimes the viewers on YouTube. YouTube, God bless it.
God bless it, and all you say.
I tell you what, YouTube is probably the biggest double-edged sword you could ever have. Because I'm not being funny. Here we are, we're on YouTube now, and we're talking with lovely people and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you never have any problem whatsoever.
Nope.
But then you get some twatty troll who can completely ruin your day. You know, and it's like, you know, complete oxygen thief. And and you just think to yourself, why do I bother? I don't even need to do this. You know, I do this for a laugh and a bit of fun and a bit of joy. So why would you ever put yourself through it?
Totally.
And I think that's what people don't think of, you know?
I think I am very tempted by the Qatari Spitfire because I'm not going to bang on it. Last thing on it, I think the balance of what they've done is quite right. I think they've done a decent job of detail versus what you can see, what you can't. You know? Yes. And if you want the extra detail, and buy the Tamiya one. That's what we call free market economics, isn't it? The truth of it is, most people are going to buy the Qatari Spitfire. I've already got the Tamiya one as well anyway.
Interesting. I know they're doing another Spitfire. We're interested to see go into any other aircraft genres.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll hit an early Focke-Wulf 190 next.
Yeah.
Or, you know, because there's a lot of mileage in a 190.
There's loads of mileage in a 190, let's be fair.
And again, it's a banker. It's an aircraft people love. The Zero, maybe? I don't know.
Zero is really weird because I thought it could be quite popular, but even like the one I did obviously the Tamiya 32nd one. I always can judge things by, you know, the viewers and the various things it gets from it. And that's just in ours because it's not open to the public. Didn't really do that much. It's a bit like World War One stuff. But you say you do a Spitfire or a Mustang or something else like that, and everyone's all over it. But again, Japanese stuff doesn't seem to get the
love.
The love, you know. So
it's odd that, isn't it? It's such an iconic aircraft.
Yeah, I thought being an iconic aircraft as it is the Zero, but again, even in popular culture, I don't think it gets as much. Well, not in Europe anyway.
I mean, I'm not
in America, but
it might be more my interest. But can we name Japanese aces?
This is it. Absolutely, I can't.
I can't. I mean, it's not my interest. It's not my field. But
yeah, no, I can't.
Build Spitfire, build a 109, 190, instantly attaching personalities to it. Story. I couldn't for toffee name a single Japanese ace.
No, nor could I.
Don't know if anyone is that me?
No, I must admit I'm the same.
Because they've got everything going for them. They've got the funky camo, got brilliant weathering opportunities. Everything's there. Sakai. Again, I might have to go away and read about that. I just haven't got a Scooby-Doo, really. Subaru Sakai. So there is one. So I've got the Tamiya 32-0 that we imported specially. I bought one, didn't I?
Yeah. Strange. Have you got some reference photos of one, Dave?
I have. Then...
Even though you shouldn't have.
Nope. Got told off for that. Very politely. In a very Japanese way, I got told off for taking photos.
Yeah, can you imagine being told off Japan? You wouldn't realise, would you? Oh, he's telling me off. Sorry.
They said it so nicely, and I was like, okay, I'll put my camera away.
All right, so
it was in a museum where it just had signs up saying, please don't take photographs, which I politely ignored, and then very politely got told off. But it wasn't like you've got to delete your pictures. It was just, please excuse me, don't take. It's a museum where you weren't allowed to take pictures.
Yeah.
And it was at the Japanese War Memorial in Tokyo, which is very much worth a visit, should you happen to be there. See, what much to my wife's annoyance, what I've got a knack of is finding aircraft museums when we go on holiday.
Like model shops.
Yeah. Like model shops. And she thought she was safe on our next holiday, but oh no, I've found an aircraft museum. But I think it's because it's a warm. I don't know why they won't let you take pictures.
Right.
We need to find out if one of our UK-based members are going to Japan at some point and give them a shopping list.
Shopping list, yeah. Right, so now I can use my old tape for masking up that we were using earlier.
So there is a book by this Subaru Sakai who wrote a book called Zero, and it is in English.
Oh, great film, The Eternal Zero.
Yeah,
highly recommend it.
But I'll be honest, it might be just the fact that World War II to me is from a European lens, so to speak. The sites that I've been to are mainly in Europe. You can't go on holiday in Europe without escaping World War II.
No.
I think it's just the Pacific theatre is just something that's a bit of, I just don't know much about it, or as much.
Yeah, because obviously I went over to Hawaii sort of, a few years ago, 7 years ago now, and obviously went to Pearl Harbor Museum and all the rest of it, and that was weird because the Japanese were all there massively, en masse. You know, it was like more Japanese there than there was, you know, sort of Westerners, if you like. But what was weird though, they go around the actual museum, but there's a theatre that you go through that sort of depicts it all and all the rest of it. They wouldn't go in that, and they never went over to Ford Island, where obviously you've got the the Missouri is over there, and the you've got the Air Museum and the bits and pieces. It's a bit like they just go to the bit where the shows all the bombing and then leave. So
I guess it's just their references different.
Yeah.
Perspective on it.
But no, I must admit, I was quite sort of said to one of the guys, I said, don't they come over to this side? He goes, never. Like, oh, okay. Right, fair enough.
Ange, for her 50th, wants to go to Hawaii, and it took zero persuasion for me to agree to that one.
Yeah, it's a bloody long flight.
We might just have to wait maybe for the 50th, another 5 years. It's not very cheap getting to Hawaii.
No, it's not. No, well, I did it via Alaska, weirdly, and as you say, and then came back via LA. It's a long old flight coming back. Because, you know, just going from Hawaii to LA, I can't remember how many hours that was, but it was a long time.
I've seen the museum on YouTube. It does look cool.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, it's 10 to 12.
Look, we're all masked up here as well. We're on a roll.
Yeah, you are on a roll. Hey, well, we've got a Huey up.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Somebody's asking a question.
Where's that come from?
Oh, I forgot that was up.
The rolling Lancaster video.
All right, I think that you've watched them all now. That's all done now.
I think you should put for the last 10 minutes, you should put a vintage build on.
A vintage build? All right, hold on. Let's go to the vintage section.
Go to the jumper era.
So the dodgy ones.
Dodgy 8-bit.
Do you want to go proper back?
Proper back? Oh, well, they can go, you can, so we can actually see what you're doing. Back.
Oh, right. You don't want to go that far back then?
Yeah, we're not going.
I don't know. Go on then, pick one.
I can't see the screen. Oh, sorry, I'm watching us on YouTube.
Oh, right.
Hold on, I'll pick one. Wait, hold on. You ought to just scroll till it stops. Wait, stop.
Right.
No, keep scrolling. That's Spitfire there.
What, the Tamiya one?
Oh no, that's boring. What's the one that? No, not the 190. Keep going. Swordfish. I could make you suffer, mate. Do the one below it.
Which one was that? I didn't see it.
The Corsair.
Oh, right. Look, we're aftermarket, which you definitely need for this kit. Oh, well, shall I skip forward a couple of episodes into the interesting stuff? Hold on.
Yeah, get to building.
There we go.
That's
still a picture in picture in those days.
Ooh, technology. Hey, that's a good kit, that is.
It is, but you do need the photo etch set for it because they basically upscaled it and it didn't work because the surface detail doesn't look right. It looks like someone's been to Dunkin' Donuts and stuck them to the outside of the fuselage.
Yeah.
But I replaced it with the photo etch ones and it actually works really, really nicely.
Would you re-tackle that?
I would actually.
Phil, right, okay, I've got a thing for you. Go back. Oh, you can't, can you? Because you're on that.
What's that? Go on.
Right, your them builds you were on there.
Yeah.
Right, your previous older builds, them.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So, what would you 100% revisit there and do again?
As in the kit or just the type?
No, the kit. So you've obviously done the Jag again, haven't you? You've revisited the Jag.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go through and go.
So I would definitely redo the because this is the Tamiya Mustang, the one they've just reboxed again, and that's the P47. They are both beautiful kits. P47 is actually stunner. So I'd definitely do that. The Draken I'd do again because that's the old Asagawa kit, PT41. That's a really nice one as well. Probably wouldn't do the Flanker again because that's the old Academy one. It's a bit of a dog. Obviously, Tamiya F16s are legendary. The Hasegawa P40 is a great kick, so we've just redone it again anyway. The Tomcat, well, as you say, it's losing it now because it's the old Hasegawa one and there's better options.
Yeah.
The Harrier we are going to revisit anyway. That's why I've got one here because that's the old classic Harrier. Obviously, you got me, very kind of you, a replacement Buster, because that was Buster, everyone. If you want to know what Buster looked like before it got mangled, is there. Everything else. The F-15, again, it sort of showed its age. It's been surpassed.
Yeah.
The Tamiya Abrams, again, that's sort of been surpassed now, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Tucano's a fun kit. Solid resin, the Alley Cat one. I don't know if you can still get it. I don't know if it's available, is it? If somebody else took it on.
I don't know, actually, if that is or isn't, to be honest. What about a Chinook?
Yeah, Chinook. Yeah, probably. This is the Atari stroke Revell boxing. Again,
still the only one.
Still the only one in that scale.
You did the Hobby Boss one. Sorry, the Hobby Boss
you got the Hobby Boss one now. Yeah. A10. Well, obviously, technically, that's still available now. They just upgraded to the C. Canberra again. Fun build. Can't get them though, can you? Airfix Canberra?
No, not really.
Well, no, you can't. Not the 48th one. You can get them second hand, but not. Yeah.
Can't get them.
Raptors, I'd still say the Academy one's better than the old Hasegawa one in 48th, and that technically it's the only two that are available. I probably wouldn't tackle this one again. I would actually do the Tamiya version if I was doing it again instead of the Trumpy one. But this one was pre-Tamiya, so that, to be honest, is a right handful of a kit. The SU-24, again, it's a big old lump, and it's very impressive, but it's quite a handful. The Tamiya Mozzies are just lovely anyway. They're really, really nice. The Swordfish I'll definitely do again. Let's face it, if I used to do an SU-25 now, I would probably use the thingy one. There's one, yeah. The Lightning, classic. To be honest, I've got that kit here still. I've got another one of them. Again, the Giant Harrier, the AV8s, again, they're nice, but I probably wouldn't do that again. That is the not so brilliant, as we know, 48 scale Edwards.
Edward one, isn't it?
Edward one, yeah, for the 190. Tamiya Spitfire, that's exactly the same one as Andy's now doing. So
yeah,
very nice. The MiG's been superseded, really, isn't it? The MiG 29 now, that's the old Academy one. Yeah. Reboxed, obviously, by Edward. But again, you're probably going to go Great Wall Hobbies there. The Liberator, we spoke about this only last week. Still a great kit. Matt's going to build that. He just doesn't know it yet.
I'm not in that scale, I'm not. I'm going up a scale.
Oh, right. You're going to do what? The 48th one?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to go the Hobby Boss for a 32nd?
Oh, no. Definitely no. No.
Very nice. The Revell Typhoon, again, it's the only one, which I'm still amazed about. I'm surprised somebody else hasn't done a Typhoon yet in 48 scale. It's not a brilliant kit. It's a bit of a handful, and the intakes are truly dodgy. But again, get the filler out, get the filler into it, and then get past it, and you'll be absolutely fine. Really nice kit, the Kinetic one, the Hawkeye. Again, that's the older version. The first one, the C, you can get the new modern one now as well. If you buy the Italeri reboxing, you get both types. I'm pretty sure you get the new blades and the bit on the spinny bit and slightly a few lumps and bumps differently on that one. But that's actually a really nice kit. Still got that. Mustang is a beautiful kit, to be honest with you. The Airfix 109, that's the one that's very famously in an Airfix magazine. In fact, it's in Airfix magazine too.
That's a cool kit, that one, that Airfix.
I love that.
I know Nathan's built 100 of them, and I've built a couple. I've built a couple of them. That's a really good kit for the price.
Yes. Yeah. But again, that Seafire, beautiful kit, really nice.
Yeah, I remember. I'm surprised that's not been re-released, because I built that off the back of you doing that. Actually, your build. I built one, and I really quite enjoyed that kit. Yeah.
I think, as you say, it's funny because you often sort of just overlook Airfix, especially their smaller stuff like the little 48 scale stuff as well for World War II. And they're really, really nice kits. They just go together. It's like reminiscence as a kid, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but obviously more detailed, and because that's new Airfix as well, one of their newer, first releases, I would say, from new Airfix. Is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I am surprised about in the Airfix front? The Canberras.
Yeah.
I really am surprised with the Canberras. I know that one came out actually only, was it last year or year before they re-released the B?
Right.
But I don't think they've ever done the PR again in 48 or 72nd. I don't know what's happened to the 72nd ones. I know they're a bit trenchy on the panel lines, but they're a lot better than, I think, what was out there. Because what was it? The Extra Kit did a PR, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then there's been a few others from Micromere. Have they done some? And the S&M, the guy who sadly passed away, he did a version of a Canberra, didn't he? But yeah, it's quite an iconic aircraft, the Canberra, and it's another one, I suppose.
Yeah, again, totally overlooked, really, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, but the 48th one, that one you did, was a pretty cool kit, to be honest.
It was, actually. Again, that got sent to me by Airfix magazine because it was under commission in those days.
Yeah.
I have a question from Alistair. Would you ever build the Airfix Whitley? The new one? Yeah.
Whitley?
Yeah, I had one, but passed it on in an auction.
Did you have the Coastal Command one? Is that the one you got from Amazon with just your address stuck on front?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think Andy did the same, didn't he? He had.
Yeah. That's it. I looked in the box. I thought, oh, that's nice. But then just thought, just passed it on because I thought I'm going to build the blooming thing.
They need to do a Hampton. That's what they need to do, Airfix.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's quite an iconic.
A 48 Hampton, and then that could just put to bed my FM one. It's stash. That could be just a collector's item.
You look full interior. Reminiscence.
There's a lot of detail in that.
There is, actually. It's a really nice kit.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of those ones. And again, this is a bit earlier in the day, because I think I did this in the sort of, I don't know, 2010, was it? Something like that.
Probably.
And the internet was really finding its feet then. And everyone slated it. and I didn't think it was a bad kit at all. You know, because everyone compared it to the Tamiya one.
Yeah.
And in those days, I think what everyone used to do, that luckily they don't do it as much now, but if any other manufacturer brought one out in a bigger scale, they'd say, oh, it's just an upscale, whatever. And that's what was said. And it was like, well, clearly this one isn't. But, you know, actually it was really, really nice. Let me just scoot along a bit more. Hold on, let's go to another episode. All free to watch these, everyone, if you want to go back and get bored to death with me doing these. Yes. So there we go. That's me removing all the surface detail and then replacing it with photo etch, which, to be honest, is the only thing realistically this kit probably needs. There you go. You can see those donuts with my brilliant camera work. If I pause it, you can see there those donuts at the top.
Yeah.
And it just, what it is that they've obviously upscaled a scan or whatever, and they don't look like that at all. So what we ended up doing was cutting all the surface detail off, and Edard, hopefully they would still do it, do a fantastic replacement set for it. So this is what I'm doing here, is literally hacking it all off. And then hopefully if I show you, there you go. It's these tiny little photo etch ones, which are still like donuts, but they're flat, not raised. So you can come along and you can pop these in. And they just look brilliant. And it makes it, and when you paint it all white and all the rest of it, like there you go. But look at the detail on that. Compared to it being a donut, they just work really, really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we were doing. We were going around sorting those out. And again, once you've done that, we get onto our painty sections. Hopefully, see, it's got a gorgeous engine. The wings are a bit of a handful if you're doing them folded, because there's no structure to them. So they tend to be a bit, you know. But look, Zappa Cap, giant bottle, guaranteed 3/4 of that went in the bin.
I was going to say guaranteed for 10 minutes.
That's why I used the little cheapo little.
There you go. Look at all the photo etch on that. It's covered in it, but it really works. It comes together really nicely with it. It's what it needs. So yeah, I highly recommend if you do get the photo etch set for it, because it would make from what would be a model to actually something really smart. It's one of the few models I've ever done as well where photo etch has made that model. Normally you can get away with it and it's just, oh, it's got some photo etch on it. But actually without the photo etch, it's nothing. It properly makes this. And it's not often I would say you need to use the photo etch. But honestly, with this one, you do.
Well, we'll have to run it in the background on one of our shows so you can... Tuesday's show.
Yes.
Nice little screen layout, actually, isn't it? Like that.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
That's when I used to have, look, paint 80% guns, 20% white, thinners 70%, air pressure 25 psi. Was I? Realistically? Don't know, but it sounded good. I was in the ballpark somewhere, you know. But yeah, I don't spray at 25 psi anymore. I probably spray it around about 10.
10's average, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, kids, don't do that again.
Cool.
Where are we? But yes, there we go. Hold on. If I got a picture of her finished, hold on, we can show you the finished article somewhere. Here she goes, going together. Hold on. Where are we? There we go. All done, look. Ta-da! Really enjoyed it. Good build. I'd like to do the Tamiya one day, because I did the Tamiya one many, many years ago. But even the Tamiya 48 scale one, can you still get that? Is that around still? Catalogued?
The what? The Tamiya one? Oh,
yeah.
God, yeah. Yeah. We've got it in the shop. That's a staple, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, there she is, when she's done. It's a fine kit. Unfortunately, it died a couple of years back when my shelf collapsed on it.
There you go. There's an excuse to rebuild one.
Well, she got completely crushed.
I'll add one to the basket.
Add one to the basket. I'd only go near it if the photo etch set was available.
Oh, I'm sure I can get you that.
Because again, all the struts for it, all the bracing, that's all photo etch as well. So it's great. You just click it in the bottom, click it in the top, and it's done.
Yeah. At least with the Tamiya one, they do the separate photo etch. They do strut set, don't they?
Yeah.
So. It does look cool though, doesn't it?
It was cool. Yeah, did enjoy it. It was a fun build, to be honest. It was one of those ones where you say I forget about it, and then you look at it again, and I've got warm memories of that. I'm thinking actually that worked very nicely. Actually, went together again. You can see that one. It's all free. Just go in the classic area, and you can catch up with that. So cool beans. Very nice.
Right.
We better call it quits. So I've got a plumber coming.
Yeah, and I've got to do some gardening and have a bit of luncheon.
I'm off to Birmingham.
Oh, that's nice.
We're all busy.
That's it.
I don't have a quick scoot round then of what we've achieved today.
Go on then. Show us your wares. Right, go on then, Nath.
Hang on, let me switch the camera over. So I've spent 2 hours basically adjusting. But do you know what I've ended up with? Is I'll join that. This has got a perfect join where you really want it.
Yeah.
The wing root and fuselage. So it has literally been all morning just like fettling.
Yeah.
Big thing I did is make those holes a bit bigger.
Yeah.
That fixed 90% of the fit issues, and then just carving this bit out. That was probably me that did that wrong, and then started to do some work, scratch building the lights.
The landing lights, yeah.
Put the guns off so they're ready to. But the most important thing I think is this has been 2 hours of basically test fitting, hasn't it? And it does. Once you've got it adjusted, it fits perfectly. It sort of clicks together.
Thing is to Nathan, but it makes a difference if you just fettle, doesn't it?
It does.
I'm so impatient. I'm just wanting to whack glue on it and then think, I should have tested that and filed it, and
But again, I think it is one of those things. If you spend that time like Nathan's done to it, he's probably saved himself more time by not having to get the filler out and try and fix it, or just by knowing he's got an annoying little step on the wing root.
I mean, that's what I didn't do with this one.
Yeah.
And I've spent ages sanding there. There's a step on it. This is the Italeri 5B, and I've spent more time doing that. Yeah, I've probably spent doing that. That's what a better tooling like the Armour Hobbies one saves you, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 hours of fettling.
Yeah, just
Right, Matthew, looking good.
Yes, obviously got the seatbelts in, which didn't take 5 minutes. They're really good. And then this is now joined up and drying. So I'm going to do what Nathan did and make sure I test fit to make sure this wing join is the best I can get it. So, and then I've been moving oil paints around. My favouriteest pastime ever at the minute.
Stabbing at it with a brush.
Stabbing at it with me knackered brushes. If you're doing oil paints, this is where Phil's brushes come in ideal. The more gnarly and knackered they are, the better they are for oil paints.
Yeah, it is.
So
that's why I have so many of them.
I use I've got some ones that Christopher sent me, so I'll be trying them, but this is just an AK long one. You need a couple of brushes, get a selection of brushes. I've got a wedgie one as well. I quite like that wedgie one.
Yeah.
It's an army painter one, if I remember, but I think loads of people
chisel top on it.
There's a chisel top and there's filberts and there's all sorts, but they all come in useful. But yeah, it does seem the more knackered they are, the better. Got to be soft though, just to blend, because obviously oil paints are amazing for blending. But I'm actually quite pleased with how that's rendering out. There we go. We'll use the word, but yeah, it's coming together now. It's one of them when you start with oil paints. I think when you start weathering full stop, it's a leap of faith for where you're going to end up in it.
Yeah, it's very organic.
The light to dark principle of what I'm working on is quite a safe way of doing it.
Yeah.
And this needs to be dusty anyway, because obviously I think these were Tunisia, back end of the war, most of these, and they were abandoned and that. So, quite really enjoying it, and it looks a lot better than the plain side, put it that way. Could just do half, just weather off.
Just do half a before and after.
Half of it, and then leave one up. No, I won't do that. That'd do my head in. I won't be able to do it. So yeah, no, I've been productive actually. I've quite enjoyed this morning. It's been nice and chilled and relaxing. So I think plan is of attack, because we're back on Tuesday, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to deal with the seam lines off camera for this, and then plug in the rest of the cockpit. And we'll see about joining, getting the wings and stuff on probably Tuesday. We'll see how we go Tuesday. So yeah. That's my plan anyway. So
cool.
All good.
And there you go. I've just been poking away on this. So the black went down. It's nice and smooth as well. We were talking about texture earlier, so no problem with that. And obviously it's all masked up, ready for the brown coat just to go down. So what I might do is pop the brown coat on this afternoon. And then when you come back with it, so I can show you about doing the camo. So we can actually do a little bit of camo work on that one on the next show. It'd be quite nice. So what I would do is I would basically put a brown everywhere, because and then we'll camo over the top. If you're doing pre-shading, you probably just want to keep in the areas, but it's just as quick to roughly put it in those areas. I won't go right the way through the middle of the wing with the green, but it'll pretty much get all of it. But there we go. So usual thing, just masked up in all the areas to protect those all off. And then obviously I've got a little bit just here, so when it's sitting on the table, it's not scratching the paint underneath. And but yeah, no, beautiful kit, really, really nice, no problems at all with it. Really, really enjoying it, actually. I'm a big fan of this kit. And then last up, we just did the spinner. So whilst I had the black out, I did the props, and as you've probably seen, this is all separate parts. It's still only a click fit, and it just clicks together. So we did the actual spinner just down in here. So all we need to literally do is just put the banding on the top here just to protect that. So I'll get some measurements and we'll get it measured onto it, and away we go. Just to say, how would I do the measurements? The decal. So I'll measure it from the decal. So I know roughly I've got a little bit extra to go, and I'll measure the width on the decal, and then that's how I'll transfer it over. So yeah, cool. Good job.
Looking good. We're getting somewhere, aren't we, at last? Thanks, Ken, for the compliment on the Henschel. Appreciate that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's that? Repeating my question regarding weathering on a tight budget. Has anyone tried streaking or staining with burnt matches? Between black coats. I can't say I have either. I've never tried that.
No, I can't say I have, and I can't say I've even heard of it. But yeah,
isn't that
different?
Basically charcoal.
Yeah. So the only trouble you're going to have to seal it, because otherwise, every time you touch it, you're going to be smudging it, aren't you? So yeah, I would say you could, and just seal it in though.
Yeah,
you might lose the effect a little bit if you can.
I haven't thought that. I've got a burnt match here, but. I don't know. I mean, how much is a flory wash?
Yeah.
You can spray. You can do exhaust staining. You can spray the wash on.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Or as you say, you can use just cheap oils for exhaust stains and things like that as well. Just a dab and then pull it through, like I've shown many times.
Say oil paints, and just for how much you can buy a set of oil paints for you. That's weathering on a budget, and you can do a lot with them, can't you? Black and white was for recognition, weren't it? Underneath?
Yeah, it was. It was first part of the war. It was very, very early World War II. So they used to have the actual, it's sky actually underneath and the black, and it was just so they could tell each other apart.
Yeah. Nice one. Right.
Nice. We will leave it right there. So very, very thank you to everybody for joining us today. As I say, next week I've got those kit reviews up for you. So we've got the Qatari Spitfire. Watch out for that one. I'll do the Lightning next week, and then hopefully I'll be making a start as well on the actual Beaufort as we make our way through with those. We will be live with you on Tuesday. Members, you're going to get the final part of the actual dozer. Will be up with you on Monday, and then everybody will be back with us. We'll be live for the world on Tuesday afternoon, and then obviously PM show on Wednesday. We've got a members show on next Thursday
night. Yeah.
First part of the Beaufort should be up with you Friday, and then next Monday it's bank holiday weekend, so there's no shows over the bank holiday. But in the evening, are we saying it now?
Monday evening, we've got a members auction.
We got a members auction. We haven't done one for a while, but we've got a full members auction, and it's the team's stashes and things going into that.
Team stuff, isn't it? Not PM stock or anything. This is all team stuff. So
yeah. So the chat room better be working by then, or we really are stuffed. It'll be a case of send your bids on a stamped down, sealed envelope or a postcard too. So hopefully they'll have it fixed by then, and we'll be back up and running and do that one. So keep that one in your diaries, even if you're not buying or anything else like that. If you want a few giggles, usual thing, we get a few drinks on the go and a few snacks, and we can have a giggle doing the auction on Monday night. So that'll be from 7 o'clock, we're saying, isn't it?
7, yeah.
7. From 7. So not this Monday, next Monday. But anyway, still loads of stuff to keep you all going, shall we say, right the way through. All righty?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool, very good. Thank you very much to Nathan for joining us this morning as well. The rest of the team didn't bother.
Safe trip to Birmingham, mate.
Yeah, nice trip this afternoon to Birmingham.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a month.
Hey, hold on. This could be this afternoon, stroke this evening, stroke tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they might go on Sunday after all because it's too late to leave.
So, if we go today, we'll be at the football match tomorrow on time.
Oh, right.
That's
okay.
A good point. That's a good point.
Great. Okay then, guys, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Stay safe, take care, and happy modelling. We'll see you all again very soon. Good to say bye, gentlemen. We're out of here.
Bye.